Yes, I'm back with another one. Yeah, back with another one. I want to say all praises to the triune God. All praises to the God above all gods. I think I am having a problem here uh, where my camera is maybe not working the best way it should work. I really do think so. I'm seeing some signs of that. But anyway, what do we have for you people? We have something special for you. Today, man, we are going to be looking at Islam again. So before I get into it, let me see. Before I get into it, I want to say all praises to the triune God, the God above all gods, the God who gives us wisdom to decipher things and to make sense of all things and to see things in the nonsensical form that they really are. So without God, we are not able to decipher if something is wrong or right. So what we are going to do today, man, we are going to look into some claims made by two different Muslims. So let's get into it. Because the show is about to start. We are going to reveal Muhammad as a comedian. And reveal these Muslims as nothing but comedians. So let's start with, I want to start with Hamza. Let's start with Hamza. So you're going to hear something that Hamza says, and you are going to see that this guy is a very, very naive, stupid guy. You know, I've been pounding on him a lot, revealing how stupid and naive he is. Listen to what this man says right here. And he's talking to this guy right here, Matt. I think this guy name is Matt. And then later you see right here, he said, Matt embraced Islam with Hamza. But you could tell from the get-go, Matt was a very shallow person. You know, listen to every little wind that blow around his ear. But listen to this. Listen, Hamza.
So the Quraysh send their poets, go listen to these words. Where's he getting them from? So they went there, and the first charge they put against him is that he's crazy. Yeah? He's gone dulali. He's having delusions. He's
having delusions. So the first thing they charge him with, he's crazy, he's having delusions. And guess what? Guess what? Aisha told us that Muhammad was delusional. Aisha told us that Muhammad was delusional. So let's look what Aisha says. We're going to look at Sahih al-Bukhari 3175, book 58, hadith 17. Once the prophet was bewitched, so he began to imagine that he had done a thing which in fact he had not done. I want to know how a person become bewitched. Is it satanic influence that bewitched a person? Cause a person to be bewitched? A person is bewitched in what way? How is a person bewitched? Satanic influence. So according to Hamza, the Quraysh, if I'm saying the word right, send their poets to check to like, where was he getting this poetry from? Where was this? Where was that? Was the Quraysh impressed by his poetry? No, they weren't. They weren't impressed by his poetry because some of them accuse him that it is old wife tale. Even the Quran, you will see in the Quran where there was where Muhammad was defending himself, say using the Quran to defend himself, saying that he did not invent it. It was not. It was given to him. When the people says these are tales of old, we have heard them before. So they were not impressed by his poetry. So what is Hamza talking about? But we let Hamza continue to talk. And remember what I say. Who bewitched a person to make them delusional? Satan. We're going to look and see how Muslim underestimate Satan. Totally underestimate Satan.
He's seeing things, he's hearing things. But wait, the words he's coming out with are not the words of a madman.
So he said the word he coming out with are not the word of a madman. Wow. A bewitched person who imagine that he's doing things when he's not doing it. Who is imagine he had done a thing when would you consider that person a madman? Yes. In a sense, in today's world, we consider that person delusional. So if you are delusional, then you are a madman. But that doesn't mean that a delusional person is always in a delusional state. And are when I say delusional state, that means they're imagining they have done things that they have not done. A delusional person can be influenced by Satan because Satan creates delusions. And we see where the Quran said, we set on every prophet a devil. And the devil that the Quran set on the prophet, according to Surah 6, verse 112, the devil is involved in speech, decorative speech of delusions. So decorative speech of delusion. And how does delusion come? And this is how stupid Hamza is. How does many forms delusion comes? Delusion could come in something that look like truth. Delusion could come in something that look like truth. That sounds good to the person, sounds good to people. Delusion don't have to be, oh, I'm crazy, so what I say is coherent. What I say is incoherent and cannot be understood by people. That's not how delusion often come. Delusion will come in a way that when you look at it, it sounds like truth. Paul says, Satan transformed himself into an angel of light. If Satan is transformed into an angel of light, what do you think he's gonna bring forth? Something that look like light. So close to light, so similar to light that, and even the Messiah says there will be false prophet that will rise, and if it was possible, they would fool the very elect. If it was possible, they would fool the very elect. So where these false prophets come from? Are they not coming from Satan? And how could they be so powerful to the point where if they could, if it wasn't for God, they would fool the elect, because what they are saying is so impressive. And this is how stupid Hamza is, that he believed that delusion, a person being delusion or being crazy, have to be, oh, I'm flailing my hand up in the air and I'm talking stupid stuff. No, a crazy person could be talking something that seems so coherent and so realistic, but at the same time, it is stupid. If you analyze it, it is stupid.
So coherent, so beautiful.
It's a coherent and beautiful. And this is how this guy, Hamza, is a donkey. Hamza is a straight up donkey. Let's listen to Muhammad. Let us listen to Muhammad. Narrated Ibn Umar. The prophet says it is better for a man to be filled, for a man to fill the inside of his body with pus than to fill it with poetry. Isn't the Quran poetry? Isn't the Quran poetry? But here this man, Umar, is saying that Muhammad says it is better for a man to fill the inside of his body with pus than to fill it with poetry. Sahih al-Bukhari, volume 8, book 73, number 175. Do you see these things? And the Quran is poetry. So why would I want to read the Quran? Why would I, if you hear the Prophet of Islam say that, why would you want to read the Quran? And listen what Hamza is going to say right here. Listen, Hamza. If you listen to Hamza, Hamza actually say, the devil will tell you to read the Quran. Hamza says that. The devil will tell you to read the Quran. Hamza said the devil will tell you to read the Quran. Let me see if this is where we found it. Where he said the devil will tell you to read the Quran.
Yeah?
It's not the typical media.
I think they deleted because I think they delete the part that says the devil will tell you to. Let me see if I find it here, because it's here where Hamza said the devil will tell you to read the Quran. Hamza actually tell you, hey, the devil will tell you to read the Quran. You know, the devil will tell you to read the Quran. You know that, don't you? Hamza actually says that. The devil will tell you to read the Quran. You know that, don't you? I actually have it recorded on my my stream. It's at 17 something. When you look at this, it's at 17 something where Hamza said, the devil will tell you to read the Quran. You know that, don't you? So let's get back to where we were. So when you listen to Hamza,
Yeah?
It's not the typical media view. It's not that.
No.
It's not that. It's things like rules for you must drink with your right.
Taking guidance from, submitting our will to.
oh, sorry, I think
I don't submit my will to anyone else but God Almighty, because why should I?
I have no problem with that. I
Alhamdulillah.
have some problems with. Yeah.
Is he a messenger of God or not? And he'll try and throw all things in the way. Yeah? To delay you.
Hold on.
Okay, so what's the problem there?
No, but in isolation.
And I'm a left-hander, so I struggle.
I'm left-handed as well. So,
oh, is it? Don't worry about it. I'm left-hander also. Go on, carry on.
yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Because what do we believe as Muslims? There's nothing worthy of worship except the Creator.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I'm
sorry.
What are you waiting for?
I'm reading it. I think I'll do my own investigation. I am reading the Quran, but I'm only 4 chapters in, so.
No, Alhamdulillah. Can I tell you something quite profound? The devil will tell you to read the Quran. You know that, don't you?
The devil will tell you to read the Quran. You know that, don't you? Oh, wow. Hamza said the devil will tell you to read the Quran. You know that, don't you?
That's right. Read the Quran just to make sure.
Yeah.
And then what he will do, he will...
Oh, wow. So the devil will tell you to read the Quran. You know? But anyway, I want to get to where Hamza, I think I lose track of where I was. But the thing is, you listen to what Hamza is saying. Hamza is saying the Quraysh send their poets to test Muhammad. Where was he getting this from? So beautiful. And when you look at the history and you look at the Quran itself, because the Quran itself should be the foundation of all the history of Muhammad and the history of Islam. The Quran didn't show that these people were impressed by the Quran. People were criticizing him and telling him he was stealing it. He was taking it from other people. He was writing. That's what they were telling him. So they were not impressed by what he was saying. They accused him of many things. They accused him of having a devil with him, that he was a devil that was giving him inspiration. Because what? According to the Quraysh living in those days, a good poet was inspired by Satan. if you look at Tabari, the history of Tabari, you will see where Tabari wrote that the Quraysh believed that a good poet was inspired by Satan. So for you to say that because the poet of Muhammad was impressive, quote unquote, impressive, that means it was coming from God. Where was he getting it from? Wow. Is that the way Islam underestimates Satan? That, oh, it could never come from Satan. It could never come from Satan. But to hear what Muhammad say here. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah Apostle says, it is better for any one of you that the inside. So you see two different people narrate this. Umar, Ibn Umar, and Abu Hurairah. It is better for any of you that the inside of his body is filled with pus, which can consume the body, than it be filled with poetry. Sahih al-Bukhari, volume 8, book 73, hadith 176. So you see that. So you see, what was poetry? Muhammad believed that poetry was a bad thing. Poetry was from the devil. Muhammad even himself believed that poetry was from the devil. So why was Allah speaking to Muhammad in something that he believed was from the devil? Why? Why was Muhammad getting revelation in a form of way that he believed that was from the devil? And do you notice that Muhammad, when they asked Muhammad, how does the inspiration get to him? What did Muhammad say, or the inspiration get to him? One of the way he says, it came like the ringing, like the sound of the ringing bell. So the inspiration came to him like the sound of a ringing bell. And then Muhammad is telling his comrades that the bell is the instrument of Satan. Even from the horse's mouth, we could see that Muhammad was getting his revelation from Satan. Even from the horse's mouth. Muhammad, all too, ate poetry. Muhammad killed so many poets, because he ate poetry. According to Ibn Ishaq, when Muhammad ran from the cave era, he thought, woe is me, poet are possessed. Woe is me, poet are possessed. And he was trying to kill himself. He said the Quraysh will never look at him like this, and he was trying to throw himself from mountain. Because what was poetry? Poetry was from the demons. That's what he believed, that poetry was from the demons. And the people of the Quraysh people, they believed that poetry was from the demons. So no one was impressed by his his poetry. The people were not impressed by his poetry. The reason people gravitate towards Muhammad was he had a few believers, was what Muhammad did. Muhammad started killing people, gathered bandits and started killing people, started executing people, executing poets who opposed him, executing people. He came back, attacked the people who ran him away from Mecca. So it was, people were not impressed by what Muhammad was saying. They were not. There was a time, if you ever heard of the satanic verses, where Muhammad wrote these verses in the Quran, claimed that he get these revelation, and that the pagans could take 3 additional gods: Al-Manat, Al-Huzza, and what was the other one? Alat. So it's Alat, Al-Manat, and Al-Huzza. He gave them 3 other gods. And according to the tradition, all the people bow, including the idols, the idolaters, the polytheists. All of them bow down. What would cause all people to bow down with Muhammad if Muhammad did not start to embrace their religion and embrace? Muhammad came and he shouted, one God. And then when the people did not believe in him, according to the history, Al-Tabari, there's so many people, Ibn Isad, all these people tell about the story of Muhammad and the satanic verses. So he wrote a verse and said, hey, remember, I'm paraphrasing, Al-Uzza, Alat, and Manat, these are the cranes whose intercession you could get intercession, receive intercession through these cranes, you know. And when he realized, I think the people got on him like, oh wow, what is this? I thought you were preaching more one God. According to Tabari, Satan cast a revelation on the tongue of Muhammad. That's what Tabari have it. But look at this. This is how you know his poetry is senseless. Muhammad could not even differentiate what poetry was coming from Satan and what was coming from God. And do you see where I show you a part of a video by David Wood the other day where this guy called Lifam, the Muslim, Lifam, if I'm pronouncing his name right, he quoted an hadith, and to him, he didn't even know that that was actually a Quranic verse. He quoted a hadith, and he think that it was an hadith, but it was actually a Quran verse. So, because the people, the Sahaba, they were confusing Quranic verse with the saying of Muhammad. They did not understand that they were so confused to what Muhammad was saying. So they confused his saying, which is the hadith, with the Quran. Because according to some people, some of the Sahaba, this was a Quranic verse. It was a Quranic verse, while some says, I think it's Ibn Abbas who actually says he can't remember if it was a Quranic verse or not. But if the poetry of the Quran was so excellent, how are you going to confuse a Quranic verse with the saying of Muhammad? It is just showing you that and when we look at the poetry of the Quran now, are we impressed by the poetry of the Quran? No. These people will sing the Quran and stuff like that, and they sing it in the most beautiful voice that they can have. But are you impressed by the poetry of the Quran? If you understand, listening to a song is different from understanding the lyric of the song. A person could have a beautiful voice and sing a song, and it sounds so good, but is the song itself impressive? Like Whitney Houston could take anything at all and sing it in her prime. She could take any song at all and sing it. Not only with Whitney Houston, you have many country western female artists, because I rather the voice of the female artists in the country western than these men voice. Kenny Rogers, even Kenny Rogers back in his days, those older country western, they were good, great singers. Kenny Rogers could take a song, you could say, get over there and drink some water. And Kenny Rogers, Dolly Partner, those people could take that and sing that song, and it sounds like the most beautiful line in a song. But you just say, get over there and drink some water. What is so impressive about get over there and drink some water? The way they sing the Quran is impressive. But is the Quran itself impressive? No, it's not. It's not impressive. I've heard a recitation of the Quran that is very impressive because the person got a very melodious voice. But is the Quran itself impressive? No, it's not. Impressive by what standard? By what standard is the Quran impressive that you could say, oh, that's the best poetry I've ever heard? No, it's not. It is one of the most stupid fairy tale. It would land in the fairy tale world of Hans running from Solomon, saying, "Run, get out of the way before Solomon run over you." And the mountain have power to refuse, and the mountain and the mountain Allah give religious obligation to the mountain, and the mountain refused it because they were afraid. Stupidity. It's not impressive that you say, oh, this come from God. It is stupid. Totally stupid. A stupid book with no impressive, not impressive at all. But I don't know why I did not mark my spot and I missed my spot, but I want you to listen to what he was saying, that Muhammad was known as the most trustworthy. That's the part that I really wanted to get into.
You're the one being guided. You're the one told to implement this and do that. Now, I promise you, there's no mention in the Quran about stepping into the bathroom with your right foot.
Okay.
All right. Shall I explain that?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Married and never did anything, and yet you're supposed to relate to him. You're supposed to be like him. What do you mean? How can you be like Jesus? This is who was supremely successful on a secular and religious level, on every aspect of it.
No, so I don't know. I missed that part. But he was saying that the reason that they believe in Muhammad is that Muhammad was known as the truthful one. He says, why does he have a reason to lie? Because Muhammad was known as the truthful one. Was Muhammad really known as the truthful one? Was Muhammad a truthful person? No. Muhammad was never a truthful person. That's an invention. If Muhammad was a truthful person, why did he become a liar? Can you imagine that? You were known before all this thing, that you were true, as a truthful person, but then you become a liar. How is that? How is that? Let us show you how Muhammad become a liar. We're going to show you how Muhammad become a liar. And anybody who knows science will know that Muhammad is a big time liar. Muhammad was never truthful at all. Imagining things that doing things that according to Aisha, they claim that he was bewitched, but we know that he was not bewitched. It was just his delusion manifesting itself. His delusion was manifesting itself. If Muhammad was truthful, Muhammad would have been more careful. Muhammad was not a truthful person. From the get-go, Muhammad was not truthful. He was not a truthful person at all. And after his revelation, his so-called revelation, we can prove that Muhammad was a liar, a big-time liar. Let me show you how Muhammad so invite more Caribbean families to watch and get some education before too late. You're right, brother. You're right. This is the way how to invite them is a difficult way. But anyway, just to we are here, thanks. Just to show you that Muhammad was not truthful, let me share something with you. Muhammad was a liar. From the get-go, Muhammad was a liar. Let me show you how I know that Muhammad was a liar. Look at this hadith right here. And you see that I don't know why these idiots are promoting their stupidity that Muhammad was truthful. Truthful to who? And truthful in whose book? In whose book was Muhammad truthful? Look at this. How naive and stupid Muhammad was and was quick to tell a lie. When Abdullah bin Salam heard the arrival of the Prophet at Medina, Abdullah bin Salam was a Jew. He came to him and said, I am going to ask you 3 things which no one knows except a prophet. So no one knows it except a prophet. Why would you answer that man? I would say, how would you know if I speak the truth? If no one knows. That's how Muhammad was a liar. Because at the end of the day, a truthful person would have been like, how would you know if I'm telling you the truth? I can't answer your question because how would you know if I'm telling you the truth? He was a careless and a liar. Careless man and a liar. So he says, what is the first portent of the hour, whatever that is? What will be the first meal taken by the people of paradise? Why does a child resemble his father and why does it resemble his maternal uncle? And notice what Muhammad said. Gabriel has just told me of their answers. So who was this Gabriel? The question we need to ask ourselves, who was this Gabriel that was giving Muhammad poetry? Who was this Gabriel? Tell me if this Gabriel is not Satan. Listen what Muhammad said now. Allah Apostle said, the first potent of the hour will be a fire that will bring together the people from the east to the west. The first meal of the people of paradise will be an extra lobe, cardate lobe of fish liver. Do you see? What you see wrong here? So fish will be dying in Allah's heaven. A cardate lobe of fish liver. Where will Allah get this fish liver from? He's just going to say, abracadabra, and there comes fish. Or will there be death in the heaven of Allah? In this jannah, there will be death, because fish will still be killed. According to the Bible, nothing else will be killed. Death will be destroyed. When the Messiah returns, death will be destroyed. So nothing else will die. But you see this. You tell me this is not from Satan. And look at the lie here. This is where you know that it's a big lie. This is where the lie comes in. Look at this. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. If a man, this is what Muhammad said, as for the resemblance of a child to his parents, if a man has sexual intercourse with his wife and get discharged first, the child will resemble the father. And if the woman get discharged first, the child will resemble her. Discharge from where? What discharge is this idiot talking about? What does a woman's discharge have to do with the resemblance of a child? Does a woman's discharge, vaginal discharge, have anything to do with the genetic composition of a child? No, it does not. So you see that Muhammad was a liar. But listen to this right here. Listen to this right here. And that Abdullah bin Salam said, I testify that you are the messenger of Allah. Abdullah bin Salam further said, O Allah messenger, the Jews are liars. Do you see the paradox? The Jews are liars. So the Jews already told this Jew that Muhammad was a false prophet. And listen what he's going to say. Oh, Allah messenger, the Jews are liars, and if they should come to know about my conversion to Islam before you ask them about me, they will tell a lie about me. So look, this guy is actually covering his skin, because he himself was a liar and a stupid too. But God used this lying Jew, a stupid Jew, to reveal that Muhammad is a liar. The Jews came to Allah Messenger, and Abdullah went inside the house. So he went to hide. He's scared of them, telling them that he converted to this stupidity. You know, so Hamza's case is that Muhammad was known as the truthful one. Muhammad was a liar, because this is after he became a prophet. He claimed he became a prophet. He's lying. What kind of man is Abdullah bin Salam among you? Allah Apostle asked the Jews, look, when he already failed his test. They said, he is the most learned person among us, and the best among us, and the son of the best among us. Allah Apostle said, what do you think if he embraced Islam? Will you do as he does? The Jew says, may Allah save him from it. May God save him from it. He's losing his mind. they actually says, may God save him from it. May God save him from Islam. This is how the Jews were revealing Muhammad as an idiot. So they said this guy was notice what he says. What do you think? He asked them, what do you think about Abdullah bin Salam amongst you? They reply, he's the most learned person among us. He's the most learned person among us, and the best and the best among us, and the son of the best among us. But they asked him, Allah, so he said, what do you think if he embraced Islam? Will you do as he does? The Jew says, may Allah save him from it. Because he's losing his mind. If you know, even though he's the best among them, they will not follow him. They will not follow him. They regard him as the best among them because of what he owed on to prior to embracing Islam. And you will see in the video, I'm sorry I lose track of the part, but you will see in the video where Hamza went on to say, oh, okay. Let me see. Hold on, let me see. Okay. He found out that he was corny right there. Stop what you're doing. Worship the one God. But anyway, I want to get there. I think it's up here somewhere, man. I don't know why I forget to mark my spot. Okay, yeah, we are here. We know you are the truthful one. So why did Muhammad become a liar after that? Why did he become a liar after being known as the truthful one? They claimed that he was known as the truthful one, but he became a liar. And why were these people fighting against him if he was this so-called truthful one? Why they were trying to kill him all the time and doing all this stuff? There were people who don't believe that he was truthful. There were people who believe, and even the Quran itself. Even the Quran itself. Now listen what, when Muhammad told them about the one God, listen what they say to him. The Quran is giving evidence that they did not believe Muhammad was a truthful one. If you look at this right here, 38 verse 5, when he came to them with this new God, they said to him, he has made the God only one God. Indeed, this is a curious thing. They were like, it's a curious thing. And this is how Yusuf Ali is a liar. He says, truly, this is a wonderful thing. But look at the other translation. Pictal, this is a stoning thing. Look at Shakir, a strange thing is this, to be sure. They didn't, they look, oh, this is strange. Where did this come from? They didn't go like, oh, let's jump and grasp this. This is certainly strange. Verily, this is curious. And this is why you know that some of these translators are liars. Because Yusuf Ali gonna say, they say, truly, this is a wonderful thing. If it was a wonderful thing, why they all didn't become Muslim? He had to be fighting them and beating them and killing them for them to become Muslim. They didn't see. They were surprised by what he was doing. They didn't say, oh, he's so truthful, let's follow him. Why they were trying to assassinate him and do all this stuff to him and kill his followers and stuff like that. If he was, we believe he was a truthful one. Even Muhammad's uncle was against Muhammad. So at the end of the day, how was Muhammad known as the truthful one? No, Muhammad was never known as the truthful one. They are lying. But look at this right here. Look, let's look at this. let's continue to listen to Hamza, where he says, I find the spot, so let's listen to him. Here is Hamza saying that Muhammad was known as the truthful one.
Treasure. And you needed to travel to another land. You couldn't take that treasure with you. But he was known as the one you could leave your treasure with. Because he wouldn't sell it, or he wouldn't steal from it.
But then later he started robbing caravans and steal and rob from the people. Later he light a fire on a man's chest so that the man could, he allowed his men to light a fire on a man's chest so that the man could tell him where he hid his treasure. What are you seeing here? That this man who, according to Hamza, you could leave your treasures with and you could do this with him, all of a sudden become a thief. He should be ashamed to be even saying that Muhammad was that kind of person. Because at the end of the day, look what Muhammad became.
You could return and he would return it to you. Yeah. So
this man you could leave your treasures with and he returned it to you, suddenly became a thief, where he was robbing people and lighting fire on the chest of people for them to tell where their treasures are. Muhammad conquered Khaybar, attacked the Jews, conquered Khaybar, and then this man, one of the Jews informed and this man that he have treasures hidden somewhere. And Muhammad allowed his men to light a fire on the chest of that man, and the man would reveal where he hid his treasures. Later, Muhammad was poisoned by a Jewish woman because of the same incident. Muhammad was poisoned by a Jewish woman because the Jewish woman says, if you are a false prophet, we will get rid of you. And if you are a true prophet, you would know that the food is poison. So at the end of the day, he eat it and suffer for about 4 years and then died. Do you see what Hamza is saying? This man was known as the truthful one, the most trustworthy person that you could leave your treasures with. But then later he become a caravan robber, a thief, a person who is torturing people for them to reveal where their treasures are.
One of his known traits.
And even when they were disputing with him, they still had their gold with him. Because they knew there's a place where you can leave it and it would come back to you. So,
okay.
Even when they were disputing with him, they knew that this and that. These guys are so naive, man. Muhammad was not known as no truthful one. That's a lie. Total lie.
Keep the trust.
And he even said to them, if I were to tell you now that there's an army on the other side of the mountain waiting to invade Makkah, what would you do? And they said, well, we'd prepare our defenses because we know you're Al-Amin, the truthful one.
Oh, wow. Because they know he was Al-Amin, the truthful one. Wow. So the truthful one become the most nasty, evil person. Do you see that? When you look at Paul Paul was a persecutor of the Jew, was murdering the Jews because he thought he was doing the right thing. And at his conversion, he was no longer a murderer. He telling you, do not repay evil for evil and to love and all this stuff he's telling you. But then Muhammad, who was known as the truthful one and the most trustworthy one, when he started getting revelation from this so-called creature that he once thought was Satan, he started robbing caravans. When before you could leave your treasures with him, but now he's robbing caravans. He's capturing people and selling them. He's buying and selling slaves. He is lighting, allowing his men to light fire on the chest of a Jewish man so that the man would reveal where he hid his treasures. What is going on here? Something is wrong.
And if you say it, it must be true.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So if he said it must be true. Where did they get that from? After makeup stuff. The people didn't trust Muhammad as a truthful person. They did not. because the Quran itself, listen to this. Listen to this. And the Quran itself will tell you. Listen to this. You will know that these people are liars. Quran 6, verse 25. Quran 8, verse 31. Quran 25, verse 25. Quran 68, verse 15. All these are accusations against Muhammad. Listen to this. And among them are those who listen to you, but we have placed over their hearts covering, lest they understood it, and in their ears deafness. If they should see every sign, they will not believe it, even when they come to you arguing with you. Those who disbelieve say, this is not but legends of the former people. They didn't believe it. They believe he was a liar. They believe he was a liar. This is Surah 6, even though the God claimed that he placed whatever over this and over that and over that. Surah 6, verse 25 is telling you that the people believe that Muhammad was a liar. So who believed Muhammad? A few gullible people at the time believed in Muhammad. And when our verses were recited to them, they say, we have heard. If we will, we could say something like this. This is not but legend of the former people. So they were not impressed by it as at all. They were not impressed by it. Do you see? Totally were not impressed. So how was Muhammad trustworthy? But what I want to get, how was Muhammad called the trustworthy and people believe in Muhammad and he was not a liar? They were saying that he's a liar. This is not but legend of the former people. I mean, he's saying that he invented it. There's a verse that actually say, you invented it. They're telling him that he invented. Because they thought he's a liar. And they say legend of the former people, which he has written down. And they are dictated to him morning and afternoon. They call him the ear. They actually call Muhammad the ear. Because they believe that he was getting his revelation from other places. So they didn't believe in him. So I don't know why this guy was saying that, oh, they see him as a truthful one and he was this and he was that. Who see him as a truthful one? Maybe the people who know around him, when our verses were recited to them, they say legend of the former people. Look how many verses. No, notice and listen to this. Look at this. He invented it. If you just put he invented it Quran and look what come up. Quran 46 verse 8. Quran 46 verse 8. Look at this. Or do they say, and this is in quotation, he has invented it. Say, if I had invented it, you will not possess for me the power of protection from Allah. So the people were saying that he invented it. So how is it that this guy was saying that, oh, he's the most truthful one? People were seeing him as a liar. Or do they say, this is another verse, not the same verse that I just read. Or do they say he invented it? Rather, it is the truth from your Lord. So the Quran have to be defending him. He had to write the Quran to defend himself. Because people were saying he invented it. Look how many verses all over the Quran. Have you ever seen this written about another prophet where people were saying he invented if Muhammad had made up about us false saying? Do you see all through the Quran we see where invented, who create me and That's another one. What about 1751? And they say, okay, so we see where they are accusing him of invention. But we're going to let Hamza continue to speak because I want him to.
So if you believe me in that, why won't you believe me now? So this rules out him being a liar.
So do you see that? Because somebody believe you in those things, they should believe you now. That don't rule him out as a liar.
What was the third thing they came with?
So listen, they say he said that rule him out as a liar. But here is the Quran saying that they still believe he's a liar. So he wasn't ruled out as he's a liar. This is how stupid this guy is. Listen what he said the third thing is.
It's sorcery.
Oh, yeah.
Listen how crazy he is, that the Quran is sorcery. The Quraysh of those days believed that a good poet was influenced by Satan. And listen to this.
What? You're Arab poets. You're some of the greatest Arab poets in the land.
They are the greatest Arab poets in the land. So what?
Send you to a man who's coming out with Arab poetry and you're telling us it's magic.
Oh, wow. And you're telling us it is magic. This is how stupid this guy is. What did even Muhammad, I quote for you what Muhammad says. Ibn Umar, narrated Ibn Umar, the prophet says, it is better for a man to be filled, for a man to fill his inside of his body with pus than to fill it with poetry. Sahih al-Bukhari, volume 8, number 175. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's apostle said, it is better for any one of you that the inside of his body be filled with pus, which may consume his body, than to be filled with poetry. So where did Muhammad believe that poetry come from? Where did Muhammad believe that poetry come from? Where? Where did he believe that a poetry come from? So listen to this. Listen to this right here. This is from Muhammad Hussein Akal, the life of Muhammad. This is what this man wrote. The latter was a poet who composed verses disparaging Muhammad and the Muslim and inciting his own tribe to raise against them. So the people didn't believe in Muhammad, as he says. Even after Badr, even after Muhammad conquered Mecca, went away, came back with his bandits and conquered Mecca, Abu Afq still composed and disseminated abusive verses. So the people were abusing him with their poetry because these poets didn't believe that he was better than them. There was a time when the people would write poetry about Muhammad. There were women who wrote poetry about Muhammad because the poets did not believe that Muhammad wrote better poetry than them. This guy is a liar. The poet did not believe that Muhammad poetry was better than their poetry. They didn't see anything impressive about Muhammad poetry. You know, they were writing poetry against Muhammad because they did not see Muhammad's poetry as better than them. You see Muhammad constantly, how many poets Muhammad have killed? A woman who wrote poetry against Muhammad was killed. So here is another part of history. So these two girls used to sing song, a satire about the messenger of God. So the latter command that the two of them be killed along with him. So this man have two singing girls who were singing poetry against Muhammad. So maybe the man wrote the poetry and give it to these slave girls that he had, and they were singing the poetry, and Muhammad ordered that the man be killed and the two slave girls be killed. So you see, the poet didn't see Muhammad as anything better than them. They did not see Muhammad as better than them in no way at all. No way, no form. And listen, we know according to Tabari, the people believe in the demon of poetry. According to Tabari, the people before Muhammad believed that demons that there was demonic forces that help these poets to write their poetry. That's what the people believe, that there were demonic forces in people writing good poetry. So, but listen to what Muhammad gonna say. Narrated Al-Bara, the prophet said to Hassan, lampoon the pagan in verse. Okay. So the prophet said to his companion, Muhammad said to Hassan, lampoon them, the pagan in verse, and Gabriel is with you. Gabriel is with this man, helping him with poetry. So Gabriel know poetry. And guess what? This is the same Gabriel that Muhammad thought was Satan, to the point that he ran from the cave and said to his wife, cover me, cover me, cover me. And he believed that he was possessed to the point where he told his wife that he was crazy. And his wife said, no, you don't believe that God would do such a thing to him. And then the wife take off her clothes, something similar, and Muhammad sit on the lap of the wife, and then the wife asks Muhammad, do you still see the angel? Or do you still see the creature? And Muhammad said, no, he was gone. And the wife came to a conclusion that he was Gabriel. He was a good angel, because the angel was gone after he take his clothes off, as if Satan could not know. And who gave her the idea to do that? Satan. As if Satan could not know what her trick was and disappear so that he can continue to pester Muhammad. So you see that the people of Muhammad days believe in demon of poetry. They believe that a good poet was inspired by demon. But here is Muhammad, narrated Al-Bara, the poet said to Hassan, lampoon. What is lampoon? Lampoon is a poetry. That's what lampoon is. Lampoon them in verse. Lampoon. If you look up the word lampoon, let's look it up. A lampoon mean? Lampoon, publicly criticize someone, or by use, ridicule, irony, or sarcasm, a speech or text lampooning someone as something. So you see, lampoon them with your verse. Lampoon them with your verse. What is your verse? Poetry. What is their verse? It didn't say lampoon them with the Quran. He said lampoon them with your verse. Lampoon them with your verse. Lampoon them in verse. What does that mean? Lampoon them in verse. Lampoon them in verse. What is this verse that you lampoon them in? This is Sahih al-Bukhari, volume 8, book 73, hadith 174. Narrated Al-Bara, the prophet. Here is a different narration by the same person. A different hadith by the same person. Narrated Al-Bara, the prophet said to Hassan, abuse them with your poems and Gabriel with you, that is support you. Al-Bara bin Azib said, on the day of Qurayza, the besiege, Allah Apostle said to Hassan bin Thabit, abuse them with your poems and Gabriel is with you. This is Sahih al-Bukhari, volume 5, edit 50, no, book 59, edit 449. So what we are seeing here, that Gabriel have poetry in him. And Muhammad is saying that it is better for your but it's the same Muhammad that says it is better for your inside to be filled with pus than to be filled with poetry. He's telling someone to lampoon someone with poetry. So Muhammad was surrounded by poets, because who is this Hassan that have poets in that lampooning people with poetry? Then these idiots will say Muhammad couldn't read, so he couldn't write the Quran. And Gabriel will help him. And this Gabriel that is helping people to lampoon with poetry, who is this Gabriel? When the people believe in demon of poetry, who is this Gabriel? Who is this Gabriel? It seems that Gabriel is a demon who is inspiring people to write poetry. Narrated Masruk. Hassan came to Aisha and said the following poetic verse. A chaste, pious woman who aroused no suspicion. She never talked against chaste, heedless women behind their backs. Aisha said, but you are not. Aisha said, but you are not. I said to Aisha, why do you allow such a person to enter upon you after Allah has revealed? And as for him among them, who has the greater share therein? Do you see that? Hassan was a poet. And they believe that a great poet is inspired by Satan, is inspired by demon. And here is Muhammad telling the same Hassan, lampoon the people with your poetry and Gabriel will help you. So who is this Gabriel that's so versatile in poetry? This is what these idiots don't know. Who is Gabriel? Muhammad initially believed that Gabriel was Satan. So who is Gabriel? And guess what these idiots will tell you? Oh, the Quran says Satan is an enemy. Why would this Quran be against Satan? How many Satan are there in Islam? The Quran is against Iblis, but not all Satan. And who is this Iblis? Who knows who Iblis is? No one knows who Iblis is, because there is nowhere in the Bible where God asks Iblis or nobody to bow down to Adam. So who is this Iblis? A fairy tale that Satan make up while to cover up himself. A fairy tale that Satan make up to cover up himself. So this Iblis is not Satan, not the real Satan. Because according to the Torah, God never asks angels to bow to Adam, because Adam is a servant and the angels are servant. When John saw the revelation and a bow to the angel said, no, we are fellow servants. We don't do that. Don't do that. So no, servants don't bow to servant. Why would God ask one servant to bow to the other servant? Make no sense. She said, what is the punishment is worse than blindness? She said, what punishment is worse than blindness? She had, and the use of defend. And he used to defend Allah apostle against the pagan in his poetry. So you hear Aisha is saying that this man used to defend Allah apostle against the pagan in his poetry. Sahih al-Bukhari, volume 6, book 60, hadith 280. Wow. Narrated Aisha, Ashan bin Tabet asked the permission of Allah apostle to lampoon the pagan in verse. Lampoon them in verse, lampoon them in poetry. Allah apostle says, what about my forefather ancestry? Hassan said to the prophet, I will take you out of them as an ear is taken out of a door. Narrated Isham bin Uwa that his father said, I call Hassan with bad names in front of Aisha. Aisha said, don't call him with bad names because he used to defend Allah apostle against the pagans. So he used to write how he does that. And this is Sahih al-Bukhari, volume 8, 73, 171. How did he defend Muhammad? Narrated Assam. Zayd said, Umar passed by Assam when he was reciting verses in the mosque. He looked up at him. Thereupon he said, I used to recite verses when there was present in it the one who was better than you. That is the prophet. So this man is in the mosque reciting poetry. He wasn't reciting the Quran. He was reciting verses. And Umar maybe was pissed at him. And he looked at him. Thereupon he said, Hassan said, I used to recite verses when there was present in it the one who was better than you. That is the prophet. Sunan Abu Dawud, book 41, hadith 4995. So what is this telling you, man? That the Quran is just verses from poetry. Because who is this Gabriel that is so versatile in poetry that Gabriel is going to help Hassan to recite poetry, to come up with the poetry word. So how was Gabriel helping Hassan? When Hassan was lampooning the people with the poetry, how was Gabriel helping him? Was Gabriel ringing bells in his head like Muhammad and giving him inspiration to come up with better poetry verse? How was Gabriel helping Hassan? Was he helping Hassan the same way he was helping Muhammad? And whose poetry was Gabriel putting in the head of Hassan? Whose poetry? Was it the poetry from Allah or was it Gabriel's poetry? So who is this Gabriel? When the pre-Islamic Arabs used to believe in demons of poetry. Listen. Surah said, I asked Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, did the messenger of Allah, may Allah bless him and grant him peace, recite any poetry? She said, he used to recite some of the poetry of Abdullah ibn Rawaha. Abdullah ibn Rawaha. Someone to whom you have not given provision, bring you news. Rashid said, the prophet, may Allah bless him and grant him peace, asked me to recite the poetry of Umayyah bin Abi Sa'd, and I recited. Wow. Thus the prophets recite by way of proverb the poem of some Muslim poet whose name is unknown to me. Ibn Sahib said in the hadith that it does not occur that Allah apostle recite a complete poetic verse other than this one. Sahih al-Bukhari, volume 5, book 58, hadith 245. Narrated al-Bara, when it was the day of al-Hizab, that is the clans, and Allah apostle dug the trench, I saw him carrying earth from the trench till dust made the skin of his abdomen out of my sight. What does that mean? He was an eerie man. What a poetry. I heard him reciting the poetic verse composed by Ibn Rahawa while he was carrying the earth. Oh Allah, listen to this. Listen to the kind of poetry that Ibn Rahawa was writing. Oh Allah, without you, we would not have been guided, nor would we have given in charity, nor would we have prayed. So, oh Allah, please send Sakina, that is calmness, upon us, and make our feet firm if we meet the enemy, as they have rebelled against us. And if they intend affliction, that is, want to frighten us and fight us against us, then we would not flee but withstand them. The prophet would then prolong his voice at the last word. So he was singing the verse of the poetry, just like they sing the Quran today. Sahih al-Bukhari, volume 5, book 59, hadith 432. This is the same man that says, it is better to have your inside filled with pus than to be filled with poetry. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the prophet says, the most true words said by a poet were the words of Labib. He said, verily, everything except Allah is perishable. And Umayyah bin Abi Asad was about to embrace Islam. Sahih al-Bukhari, volume 8, book 73, number 168. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? And this is why you know that there's something going on that is wrong with the Quran. And we had not taught him poetry, nor is it meet for him. It is nothing but a reminder and a plain Quran. We didn't taught him poetry. We didn't taught him poetry, but he know poetry. He was reciting poetry, but we didn't taught him. How did he taught himself poetry? This is 36, 69. 36, 69. So what is this telling you? Stop pretending as if the Quran is anything better than anything. It is only in the Muslim mind. Only in the Muslim mind they will go in and say, oh, this is in the Quran, this is in the Quran, and that is in the Quran. Only in the Muslim mind, the Quran is this wonderful poetry. Because if the Quran was such a wonderful poetry, Muhammad would never mistake the satanic verse for the Quran. And if the Quran was such a wonderful poetry, the people would never accuse Muhammad of stealing it from others. That is old fable, because they heard it before. If the Quran was such wonderful poetry, To us today, it would make an impression on people like us today. It's not impressive. It's only impressive on people who are naive. It's not impressive on people who are learn and understand poetry. I write poetry, and I don't see any great poetry in the Quran. When you sing it, because of your voice, when Muhammad Hijab was singing it, I was like, oh my God, please stop. And even Jordan Peterson was not impressed by it. But you will hear some singers sing it, and when they sing it, because of their voice, it will sound impressive because of their voice. But are you impressed by the words of the Quran? No. Are you impressed by the voice of the person reciting the Quran? Yes. Because the person have a good voice that can sing. So you will be impressed by the voice of the person. Just like I say, Whitney Houston could sing anything and make it sound good. You could just make up anything and she sing it and it sounds good in her prime. So are you impressed by the singing of Whitney Houston? Are you impressed by the words of this whatever she's singing? You are impressed by her voice because she could be singing jump over there, jump over there, jump over there 4 times. And the way she sings jump over there 4 times. But what is jump over there? Not very impressive. But when her voice gets to it, it's impressive because her voice is so impressive.
Which means there's something profound in those words.
But it couldn't be normally explained. So they have.
It couldn't be normally explained, but they were saying that he stole it. They heard it before. It couldn't be normally explained, but they were saying that he stole it from a man. And the Quran says, if it had been from that man, let me see if I could find that verse. It is so crazy all these people think. The Quran says, if it had been from that man, I think it's 1742. I hope it is. Listen this. Say, O Muhammad, there had been with him. No, that's not it. I know there is a Quranic verse where Allah came to the defense. Allah came to the defense. Allah came to the defense of Muhammad and says, if it had been from this man, it would be in the language of the man. And that is so stupid. Let me see if this is it. No, that's not it. But the verse says, if it had been from that man, he said, if it had been from that man, I don't remember what the verse is, then it would have been in the language of the man, which is so stupid. Let me see something. Let me see if it come up here. So they actually accuse him of stealing a verse from this man. And the Quran defense is I think I could find it this way. Let me show you guys how I could find it. I think this is the best way to find it. Let me see. I could find it this way. I think this is a way you could find it. Here it is. So it said the most in. Let me make sure this is it. It said the most ignorant verse in the Quran. Let me see if this is it. No, that's not it. That's not it. But there is a verse in the Quran where the God, the so-called God, is actually defending Muhammad, and actually is a loser. Totally, the way he defended Muhammad, a child could defend themselves better than that. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Let me show you guys. Let me show you guys this verse. Look at this verse and you tell me if what Hamza is saying make any sense to logic. Listen to this. I want you guys to pay attention to this. Tell me if this is not from a man. Tell me if this stupidity is not from a man. So this is David Wood and the apostate prophet. Look at this. If you are reading this and you can tell me this is not from a man. Listen to this verse. And we certainly know that they say, so we, this God, certainly know that they say, it is only a human being who teaches him. The tongue of the one they refer to is foreign. So the God is saying the tongue of the one they refer to is foreign, and the Quran is in a clear Arabic language. Is this God stupid or what? You know what this God is telling you? That if I say something in Patois, someone cannot say it in English. If I say mi bien gudongde, I'm speaking Patois right now. Mi bien gudongde. This is the hardest form of Patois, the deepest form of Patois. Right now, I'm speaking the deepest form of Patois. Mi bien gudongde. And if an English-speaking American who doesn't know Patois, listen to that, he don't know what I say. It's an unknown tongue to him. I'm speaking in an unknown tongue because he have no knowledge of what I'm saying. He cannot comprehend what I'm saying. If I say, mi ben gudongde. But if I say, mi ben gudongde to a new Jamaican, a Jamaican born at a certain time, they will not understand fully everything that I just said. Mi ben gudongde, they won't understand everything that I say if I say mi ben gudongde. But old school Jamaican will understand exactly what I say. An old school Jamaican will understand exactly. Can an old school Jamaican take what I say and write it in English? Yes, I could write what I say in English, or another person could write what I say in English. Mi ben gudongde mean I went down there. I went down there. And if I say I went down there, mi ben gudongde, can someone take it and write it in English? Yes. How? Because the person understands both languages. So listen to the stupid God. And if we certainly know, and we certainly know that they say it is only a human being who teaches him. The tongue of the one they refer to is foreign. So this God know who this person they were accusing Muhammad of stealing from. And this Quran is in clear Arabic language. Does that mean that Muhammad didn't steal from the man? No. Let apostate prophet and David Wood show what they believe about this. Let them, because they can show what they believe about it. Because it makes sense to reason with sense.
Yeah. What this grammar is actually saying, so it is saying that they say, so the people around Muhammad who doubt Muhammad's message and who doubt all these recitations and their divine origin.
So you see, people were doubting Muhammad's recitation, but what Hamza is saying, Hamza was saying like, oh, they say this, they say this. They were doubtful of what he's saying. They were doubtful of what he's saying, and they were identifying people who they believe he was stealing from, who they believe that he was getting these things from. They call him the ear. That means he was listening to people and he was stealing from them. So they didn't believe that there was nothing impressive about Muhammad and his Quran. Muhammad started killing them. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. I'm going to show you something. Because, you know, we share a lot. Let me reveal something to you. Show you how Islam was literally was spread. Let me show you how Islam literally was spread. By stupidity. Do you see how the Jew became a Muslim? When he asked a question that Muhammad answered wrongfully, he became a Muslim. It was being spread by stupidity. So that's one way it was being spread, by people being naive and stupid. And then here is another way. Here is another way where it was being spread. This is another way. The apostle said, kill any Jew that fall into your power. Thereupon, Muesha leapt upon Ibn Sunena, a Jewish merchant with whom he have social and business relation, and kill him. Muesha was not a Muslim at the time, so Muesha killed the Muslim, and Muesha was not a Muslim at the time, though he was the elder brother. When Muesha killed the Jew, Muesha began to beat him, saying, "You enemy of God, did you kill him when much of the fat on your belly come from his wealth?" Muesha answered, "Had the one who ordered me to kill him ordered me to kill you, I would have cut off your head." This was the beginning of Muesha's acceptance of Islam. So the man got scared and accepted Islam. Very right there. He replied, "By God, a religion which can bring you to this is marvelous." He was scared, because if a man would kill his own brother because Muhammad said kill them, the guy got scared and become a Muslim. So people were become a Muslim because some of them were stupid and some of them were scared. This is how people were becoming Muslims. So we continue to look at this verse.
They apparently say it is only a human being who teaches him. So there is somebody there among them who teaches Muhammad these things, which is why he is making up these revelations, because he gets these from some guy who is among these people.
Yeah. So people believe that he was stealing it from people. So they were not impressed by what he was. So he was making up these revelations. He was stealing it from people. If they were impressed by him, why they say he was taking it from people? They were saying he was stealing it from people, and the Quran is telling you what they say he stole it from. The Quran never say, they say it was sorcery and this and this and this and this. They believe he was stealing it from people because they were not impressed by the Quran.
And then the Quran later clarifies, but the language of that guy that you are referring to is foreign. And this Quran is in clear Arabic language, so it can't be that he's taking it from that guy. But it's funny that the Quran is actually...
It's hilarious.
That is hilarious. And that is how you see the Quran. That is how a sensible person would look at the Quran. Look at what the Quran is saying. The accusation against Muhammad. Muhammad was stealing it from people. And listen to the defense of this God. The tongue of the one, meaning the language of the one they refer to, is foreign. And this recitation, that is the Quran, is in a clear Arabic language. Is the Quran clear Arabic language? No. There are mixtures of other languages in the Quran. You could see that the Quran is from different places, and there was words that could never be translated, so they are left in the Quran. You see words that are not Arabic, of Arabic origin, in the Quran. So when this God is saying that if he had stolen it, it would be in a foreign tongue. That's why it have to be in a foreign tongue? Why does it have to be in a foreign tongue? Doesn't make any sense, does it? This is out.
One of us should make a video called like Allah's dumbest responses to our.
And you know, and we in these days, we see how dumb this Quran is. This is the poetry that is from the Quran that was so impressive. This is impressive. That God is gonna say, if I steal from a German, then it would my poet. If I steal a poetry from a German, then my poetry must be in German. Does that make sense? That I could not have someone translate it who knows multiple language. According to the Hadith and the history of Muhammad, the life of Muhammad Ibn Ishaq, Warika knew more than one language. Warika knew more than one language. So were there other people who knew more than one language? Yes. The Jews, do you think the Jews knew more than one language? Yes, they knew more than one language. Do you think there were other people there who knew more than one language? So when the God said, if it was stolen from this man, then it would have been in another language. Does it make sense? If it was stolen from the man, I stole something from a person who speaks French. So what I stole from them must be in French. It could never be in my language, English and Patois, because I stole it from a man in French who speaks French. This is how stupid the God of Islam is. Very, very stupid God, because the God is a man. The God is the alter ego of a man.
Arguments, right? Because he has things like this, right? Like, and they ask, why isn't Muhammad sent with a miracle? And Allah's response is, because other people from other generations had rejected miracles, therefore you don't get any. It's like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. But this is another one that just doesn't make sense.
Don't make no sense. Doesn't make no sense. Doesn't make no sense. When the people ask, even that David quoted, that was another verse. Where is the sign to say that this man is a prophet? Oh, the people of the past reject the sign, so there is no sign. Muhammad was a prophet. They doubt that Muhammad was a prophet. So when I don't know what Hamza talking about. I really have no clue what this guy is talking about. What is so impressive about Islam? What? What is so impressive about Islam? Nothing is impressive about Islam. What is so impressive about Islam? Watch this again. Let's get a little bit into this.
was supernatural even then.
It was supernatural even then. Do you hear what he says? It was supernatural even then. Wow. It was supernatural even then. So because something is supernatural, it is from God. The satanic verse was supernatural. Was it supernatural? Yes. The verses that Muhammad claimed was satanic. Was it supernatural? Who did it come from? Who did it come from? Is Satan supernatural?
The Quran was supernatural even then.
The Quran was supernatural even then. Oh, wow. Is that a sensible statement? The Quran was supernatural even then. So if this idiot think that the Quran is supernatural, why wouldn't it be supernatural even then? Does Hamza sound like the God of the Quran? He does sound like the God of the Quran, don't he? If it was from anyone other than if it was from that man, it would be in the language of the man. The Quran was supernatural even then. What if is that a sensible statement? Oh, what? The expectation of the Quran, could the Quran become automatically later become supernatural? The Quran was supernatural even then. Look at this idiot. Look, you see this idiot, what his name? Looking at him, because what he said doesn't make no sense.
Okay, so now we know that this Quran is what? Supernatural.
So now we know that the Quran is supernatural. Where have you proved that the Quran is supernatural? Where have you proved that the Quran is supernatural? Have we seen anywhere where this man proved that the Quran is supernatural? Where? And if the Quran is supernatural, does that mean that it's from God? Is God the only supernatural existence? No. God is not the only supernatural existence.
When we look at the Quran and we look at its teachings and we look at its guidance, if everyone would adhere to its teachings, we would have peace on earth.
Oh, listen to this dumb donkey. If everyone should adhere to his teaching, we would have peace on earth. But look at this. Let me show you something. Let me show you the kind of peace that we would have on earth if everyone should adhere to the teaching of Muhammad. Look how stupid. Do you see how stupid this naive goat is? This guy is a stupid donkey, man, and a naive goat. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this and tell me what this guy is saying make any sense to anybody with logic. Here we go. Let's look at this and tell me if this guy is saying any sense. If we adhere to his teaching, there would be peace on earth. If we adhere to the teaching of Muhammad, there would be peace on earth. That's what he says. If we adhere to the teaching of Muhammad, there would be peace on earth. Look at this. If who adhere to the teaching, if everyone adhere to the teaching of Muhammad, there will be peace on earth. Is that really true? What is considered peace? Let's look. Let's look at something real fast. This guy says if everyone adhere to the teaching of Muhammad, there would be peace on earth. Is that true? Is that true? Rafa divorced his wife, whereupon Abdurrahman bin al-Zubair al-Qurazi married her. Aisha said that the lady came wearing a green veil and complained to Aisha of her husband and show her a green spot on her skin caused by beating. Does the Quran say you can beat your wife? Yes. Surah 4 verse 34 say you can beat your wife. It was the habit of the ladies to support each other. So when Allah messenger came, Aisha said, I have not seen any woman suffering as much as the believing women. So what is showing you? What is that showing you? That there was a standard higher than Islam when it comes to the treatment of women. Aisha said, I have not seen anyone suffering as much as the believing women. Look at her skin, it is greener than her clothes. So when Hamza the idiot is telling you if everyone adhered to Muhammad, it would be peaceful, the best thing on earth. That's a lie. Muslim would be abusing their wives and get away with it. Because what happened in this hadith? Muhammad allowed the man to get away with beating his wife. Let me show you how Muhammad allowed this man to get away with beating his wife and abusing his wife. Notice she's green, her skin is greener than her clothes. So let's show you something. So when Abdurrahman heard that his wife had gone to the Prophet, he came with his 2 sons from another wife, not from this wife, but from another wife, and said, by Allah, I have done no wrong to him. She said, by Allah, I have done no wrong to him, but he is impotent and is useless to me as this, holding and showing the fringe of her garment. So this woman wants a divorce, and he's beating on her. She wants a divorce. She wants to go back to her ex-husband, according as we're going to read next. Abu Rahman said, by Allah, O Allah's messenger, she has told a lie. I am very strong and can satisfy her, but she is disobedient and wants to go back to Rafi. That means she wants a divorce to go back to her husband. What should Muhammad do in a case like this? According to Islam, you could divorce a man and go back to your husband, as long as the man that you are married to have sexual intercourse with you. This is Islam. If you're married to a man, and on the night of your marriage, you found out that you make a mistake, you leave your ex-husband, you leave your husband before and marry to a new man, and you found out, oh man, I still love my husband. And the night of your marriage, when you should consummate your marriage, if you say, wow, I shouldn't have leave my ex-husband, guess what? According to Islam, you must have sex with this new man before you can go back to your former husband. But this woman here had already have sex with this man because it's obvious from the conversation that she had already have sex with him, and she want to go back to, according to him, she want to go back to her ex-husband. Muhammad should have allowed him, according to the law of Islam, to allow her to go back instead of stay with the man who is beating on her. Allah Apostle said to her, if that is your intention, then know that it is unlawful for you to remarry Rafi unless Abu Rahman had sexual intercourse with you. He must, this is how stupid Muhammad was, he must have had sexual intercourse with her. He must have already had sexual intercourse with her. Then the Prophet saw the 2 boys with Abu Rahman and asked, are these your son? And that Abu Rahman said, yes. The Prophet says, you claim what you claim, that is, he is impotent. But by Allah, this boy resemble him like a crow resemble a crow. How does that prove that this man is not impotent? He brought 2 sons with him. How old are these sons? So you see the kind of man that Muhammad was. An idiot. So what you expect to come from an idiot? but a stupid Quran. Can this man have no wisdom of God in him? So what is the source of his Quran? The stupid Quran, where is it coming from? Somewhere without wisdom. He would take up anything and guide you in any stupidity. Because in the first place, if a man have 2 sons before, that doesn't mean that 1 month later he cannot be impotent. This is how stupid Muhammad is. But the main thing here is that Aisha said, I have not seen any woman suffering as much as a believing woman. But listen to what this guy says. Listen to what this guy says. So I take you back and you listen to what this guy say, and you see if what he says make any sense to you. What he says make any sense to you at all. What he says to you make any sense at all.
Okay, so now we know that this Quran is what? Supernatural. When we look at the Quran and we look at its teachings and we look at its guidance, if everyone would adhere to its teachings, we would have peace on earth.
Is that true? That's a lie, a total lie. Aisha told us that the believing women were suffering. So how would we have peace? Peace for who? If everyone adhered to his teaching. And let me show you another, I'm going to read to you another clarification that the standard of Islam was below certain standard. This is Tabari, volume 17, page 191. But there was an old man among them, a Christian named B. Mansour, who said, by God, the only error I have made since attaining reason was abandoning my religion, the religion of truth, for yours, the religion of wickedness. So this man is seeing Islam as wickedness. He saw Islam as wickedness. And what happened to him? He said, by God, I will not leave my religion and I will not accept yours as long as I live. Makril brought him forward and cut off his head. Do you see this? So this Christian was seeing a standard in Islam that is below the standard of Christianity. He called Islam the religion of wickedness. So how is this idiotic guy, what's his name? Hamza, is saying that if everybody had followed Muhammad, it would be peace on earth. That's a lie. Everybody was following Muhammad. They would be living in a worse standard, a very bad standard. But everybody could not follow Muhammad, and that is stupidity. If everybody was following Muhammad, I agree that you would not have Muslim killing other people for their beliefs, because everybody would be Muslims. So when Muhammad said, if anyone leave their religion, kill them, because that's what Muhammad says. If anyone leave their religion, Muhammad said, if anyone leave their religion, kill them. You wouldn't have anyone leaving Islam because everyone is Muslim. He said, if everyone adhere by his teaching, the world would be peaceful. I agree that if everyone adhere by Muhammad's teaching, there wouldn't be Muslim killing people. There still would be Muslim killing each other, because Muslim. But if everyone adhere by Muhammad's teaching, because Muhammad teach that you kill adulterer. So if one person didn't adhere by his teaching and another one adhere, then you would kill adulterer. But anyway, but if everyone should follow Muhammad's teaching, we agree that there would be no Muslim killing other people for leaving Islam. and there would be no Muslim killing Christian, and there would be no Muslim making up lies about Christian in Pakistan and causing Christian to die, and there would be no body killing people in Pakistan for speaking the truth about Muhammad. So there would be none of those things. There would be none of these things. So Muhammad said, if anyone abandon their religion, kill him. So let me look at this. Let me give you a hadith, cite a hadith. When we talk like this, we like to cite hadith. We like to cite citation when we are talking like this. You know, Muhammad says, anyone who abandon their religion, kill them. So let's cite something. Where Muhammad says, anyone who abandon their religion. So if you look at it, if you look at it, Surah 9 verse 123, O believers, fight with these disbelievers who are near to you, and they shall find you firm and stern. So that's the Quran 9 verse 123. So you would not have believers fighting against disbelievers, because everybody would believe in Islam, and that's why you would have a more peaceful society. Not because Islam is good, but you will have people not fighting against each other because everybody is of the same belief. So when he says, if everyone adhere to his teaching, the world would be a more peaceful place. Would it be? No, I don't think it would be. Everyone cannot adhere to Muhammad's teaching. So that's a hopeful wishing. But what I'm saying is this: there would be no killing of apostate, because according to the hadith, you should kill apostate. Allah apostate said, the blood of a Muslim who confesses that none has the right to be worshipped but Allah, and that I am the apostle, cannot be shed except in 3 cases. So in 3 cases you can kill a Muslim. In Qisa, like for like punishment. So if a Muslim kill another Muslim, he must be killed. For murder, so that's for murder. A married person who commits illegal sexual intercourse, and one who reverts from Islam, apostate, and leave the Muslim. And this is Sahih al-Bukhari. So you see that. Here is another one. No doubt I heard Allah apostle saying, during the last days that will appear, some foolish people will say the best words, but their faith will not go behind their throat. That is, they will have no faith, and will go out from, leave their religion as an arrow goes out for the gate of the game. So wherever you find them, kill them, for whoever killed them shall be reward on the day of resurrection. And that's Bukhari. So what is that telling you? What is that telling you? That what Hamza's statement is a senseless statement, because what? If everybody adhere, would there still be peace? No. Because according to Aisha, women were suffering under Islamic rule. And according to logic, everybody cannot adhere to the same thing. Everybody will not adhere to the same thing. You know, so to make that statement is stupid. It is a very, very stupid statement.
I'm not saying everyone became a Muslim and the teachings, alhamdulillah.
Though it says, if everyone adhere to his teaching, not everyone becoming a Muslim. So if everyone adhere to his teaching, that means you are a Muslim. That's stupid. Very, very stupid rhetoric that make no sense. If everyone adhere to Jesus' teaching, what would happen? If everyone says, Matthew 7 verse 12, do unto others as you like them to do unto you. If everyone does follow that, if everyone do that, well, if everyone love their enemies as they love themselves, what would you have? A peaceful world. If every enemy love the other enemy, not as they love themselves, but every enemy love their enemies and pray for their enemies. If every man love their enemy and pray for their enemy, what would you have? A very peaceful place. That's what the peace would come. That's who is the Prince of Peace, not Muhammad. This guy is a stupid idiot.
So this is evidence that where this is from, and this gives you reason to believe. And then not just that. I mean,
this is evidence where this is from. What is from? This is evidence where that is from. What is from? What is the evidence? What is he talking about? What is he talking about? This is evidence that what is from what? If I adhere to Muhammad teaching and I kill my brother because he refused to be a Muslim. If everybody adhere to Muhammad teaching, the world would be a dangerous place to live in. And if you notice, it doesn't make sense.
I'm sure you've heard my video on the 5 poisons destroy society. So this, following the guidance of this Quran, will protect yourself and your family and society from all of these ills.
Following the guidance of the Quran will protect your family from society. Wow.
Now we've got a question. Could a man in the desert 1400 years ago come with the supernatural poetry that seemed to apply order in the 21st century? The madness.
Do you see how stupid this guy is? Apply order in the 21st century. Is Aisha saying that order was applied? Aisha is saying that she have never seen anyone suffer as they believe in women. So how was order applied? Look at the Taliban today, how they are treating women. Look at the videos that I showed. I tell you to watch. Or the Taliban, how did order apply? There was no order. There was chaos. And that's why they poisoned Muhammad. Why was Muhammad poisoned? Because of what he was doing. Muhammad was not poisoned, killed like the way Jesus was killed. Jesus was killed for speaking the truth. Muhammad was not killed for speaking the truth. Muhammad was killed because of he was attacking community. He attacked Khaybar, ravished the community, took women, have sex with a Jewish woman whose husband he had just killed. That's how evil that man was. Then his schizophrenic, stupid mind told him that, hey, I could eat from the Jewish people even after treating them this way. So they poisoned him. So what is this guy talking about? What order is this guy talking about? Where's the order that this idiot talking about?
In the 21st century, it could apply all law and order.
Law and order where? Where? In what era can Islam work? Where law and order, law and order. Beating your wife is law and order. Killing people who don't believe in your religion is law and order. Is that all you say? Okay, let's establish law and order. We're gonna come to America. We establish law and order, and we start killing people. Putin kill people who are against him. Is that law and order? Putin have that same mindset where he imprison and kill those who are against him. Is that law and order? Follow my way or you die. Is that law and order? Is that what this idiot call law and order? Is that what he call law and order? Is this guy really thinking? Is he? And it's so stupid to think that the Quran is not from another source other than. Listen to Muhammad. Muhammad is talking. Abdullah B. Masud. We know who Abdullah B. Masud is. Reported that Allah's apostle, Allah's messenger said, there is none amongst you with whom is not attached from amongst the jinn, the devil. They, the companion, said, Allah apostle, with you too? Thereupon he said, yes. But Allah helped me against him, so I am safe from his hands, and he only command me, but for good. You're safe from his hands, but you're not safe from his mouth. He's commanding you to do things. How are you safe? How are you safe? So Allah help you from a devil, and the devil is now commanding you to do good. Where have you ever heard a devil commanding people to do good? Before Islam, and if you are outside of Islam, where have you heard someone say, oh, the devil command me to do good? So the devil was commanding Muhammad. Whose apostle was Muhammad? This is stupidity. Total stupidity, man. But anyway, let's see.
It's madness. You understand? Yeah. So this is where we come to today. Now we believe when the Quran says Muhammad is the messenger. He's the one who shows us how to use this Quran. So now what do we have now? We don't just have this abstract Christian idea of this immaculate Jesus.
Do you see how stupid this idiot is? We don't have that abstract Christian idea of this immaculate Jesus. Look how stupid this idiot is. So the best example for a Muslim to follow is a man. Not the best example for a Muslim to follow is God, because the immaculate Jesus is God. So the best example for a Muslim to follow is a man. And listen to him.
Jesus, who was pure and never married and never did anything.
So he never married, so you can follow him. Is Allah ever married? Allah ever married? You could follow Allah, and according to Allah, if he want a wife, he could take it from us. But according to them, Allah never married, but you can't follow Allah. You could follow Muhammad. Is Muhammad example better than Allah's example? Can Allah teach you how to live your life without being married? What a donkey.
Anything, and yet you're supposed to relate to him. You're supposed to be like him.
You're supposed to be like him. You relate to him. In what way you relate to a person, and what way you be like a person? Can a person tell you how to live with your spouse? And none of us are alike, but can we tell each other how to live with our spouse? Does it have to take the example of a man? Muhammad was said to eat Aisha in the chest. So should you eat your wife in the chest? Muhammad is said to beat Muslims, abuse Muslims. So what example is Muhammad? What example is Muhammad at all?
What do you mean? I can be like Jesus. This is why. Have you heard of a...
Yes, you can be like Jesus. Because what is in this guy's mind is sex. Sex is in his mind. That's why I say he never married. So what is being married tell you about how to treat a woman? Being married, so you want to say only the people who are married can treat a woman right. And only the people who are married can treat children right. But Muhammad married to a 9-year-old baby.
A book called The World's 100.
And then he go into The World's 100.
It's a beautiful book. It's by a Christian guy called Michael H. Hart.
The guy is not a Christian. These idiots, they take everybody for a Christian. Everybody who say they are Christian is a Christian for these idiots. Because if you are saying that Muhammad is what Art said about Muhammad, that shows how you put Jesus at number 5 number 3, and Paul at number 5. What is that showing you? Who is at number 2? Who is at number 2? Who is at number 4? Who is at number 2 and who is at number 4?
All right. And it's the world's 100 most influential people in history.
Influential people. Wow. So because you are influential, that means you are from God. You're godlike. Influential people. Let's take a walk. Here it is. Let's show you who is on the list. Number 1, Muhammad. Number 2, Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton is number 2. Isaac Newton is right behind Muhammad. Is Isaac Newton a Christian person? Is Isaac Newton a Muslim? Is Isaac what make Isaac Newton influential? Look who is on it. Buddhist. Buddha is on it. Buddha is on it. Number 3, Jesus. Number 4, Buddha. Number 5, Confucius. Number 6, Paul of Tarsus. Number 7, Calhoun. Number 8, Johannes Gutenberg. Number 9, Christopher Columbus. Look, the Christopher Columbus is number 9 on this list. Albert Einstein is number 10 on this list. So what this guy is saying? Influential doesn't mean that you are a good person. Influential doesn't mean that you are a good person. And that's what this idiot don't know. That doesn't mean that you're a good person, because somewhere on the list, I want to see the whole list. I'll show you who is on the list. Let me show you who is on the list. Let me show you who is on the list. Bad people are on the list. Bad people are on the list. Bad people. Bad people on the list. Very bad people. Very bad people are on that list. Very, very bad people are on that list. Some terrible people are on that list. So what does that mean? Let's go down. Let's find you some people. From Napoleon Bonaparte, Alexander the Great. Were these people good people? No. Only in Islam, Alexander the Great was a Muslim. Adolf Hitler is 39. Adolf Hitler is number 39 on the list. So how are these people influential? Is art telling you that Muhammad was better than Jesus? Is that what he was telling you? Art creates categories, and Jesus did not fall in certain of the categories. Art did this by creating categories, and Jesus did not fall in certain of the categories. If they should write the most influential spiritual leader in the universe, Jesus would be number 1. So let's look at this. Jesus would be number one if you're talking about the most influential spiritual people ever. Jesus would be number one. If you are going into that kind of stuff, Jesus would be number one. Unless you're looking at something that we're a person who don't believe in Jesus wrote, like Peter Russell and people like those. Okay, so if you look at this, let me see. This is from what's this website is called? It's called The Famous People. And when you look at this, Jesus is number one. Jesus is in there number one. Is number one. And Prophet Muhammad is number 5. Muhammad is number 5 as a spiritual leader. Is number 5. Jesus is number 1. Even Moses come before Muhammad. Why? It depends on what the criterion, because Moses is in the Quran. Moses influenced the Quran. Jesus influenced the Quran. So it depends. You know, when you're reading off these things, you got to be very careful what you read and say, oh, the most influential. What is the criterion that this guy create?
Okay, yeah.
No, he's a Christian.
And do you see how stupid this guy is? He says he's a Christian, and was the art really saying that Muhammad is more influential as a Christian, as a spiritual leader than Jesus? No. He have criterions that he put together to make up this most influential person. He talk about fatherhood. He talk about husbandhood. He talk about as a warrior. He talk about as politician and all these stuff. That's the things that he put into it. As a conqueror, as all these different criterion that he put in. And notice what? His number 39 person was Adolf Hitler. His number 39 person is Adolf Hitler. And what, if you look at it, let's look at it, and we'll see what was Adolf Hitler to art. In what category did Adolf Hitler stand out to art? Those are the things that you need to look at. What category did Adolf Hitler stand out to this guy art? What category did Adolf Hitler stand out in? These are the way you look at things. What category did Adolf Hitler stand out in? Let me see. Most ranking, most influential. Okay, yes, that's it. So you got Adolf Hitler is on it. And what category did Adolf Hitler stand out in? These are the things that we need to look at. You know, what category did Adolf Hitler stand out in? Because Adolf Hitler is on it at 39. So what is the category? Because there is categories that people stand out in that makes them on the top. So it's not like, oh, Art was saying that Muhammad is better than Jesus. He was saying that based on these categories, Muhammad is more influential. He have more influence on the people based on his war that he fight based. But Muhammad was not a good husband. So I don't know. Art draw to the conclusion that he was the most influential. Muhammad beat his wife. So I don't know what was going through Art's mind.
Who did he put number one?
Muhammad.
Allahu Akbar.
Yeah.
Muhammad Sallallahu number one. He put Jesus number 3, and he put Paul number 5.
Paul.
Number 5. Yeah.
Who's 2?
2 was Isaac Newton.
I can agree with that.
All right.
But listen, Isaac Newton is number 2. What is that telling you? That Muhammad being number 1 is not anything great. Because if Isaac Newton is number 2, Isaac Newton is number 2, and Muhammad is number 1. If a Muslim should write who is the most influential person in the world, would they put Isaac Newton on it? No, they would not. No, they would not put Isaac Newton on it at all. So at the end of the day, what is this all about? Nothing at all. But anyway, let me share you something with Sammy. I wanna hear this guy called Sammy, then we get out of here. I want you guys to listen to this guy called Sammy for a minute. SHAMSI, is that what his name is? Because this guy is, I don't know. I never really too much listened to this guy before. So I didn't know too much about this guy. Well, I want to, it should say Speaker's Corner. I don't know why I'm not seeing it. Discussing, no, that's not it. Hold on. I have an idea how to make things come up front. Okay. So now we will find it. Okay, listen to this guy now, Speaker's Corner. All right. Here, listen what he says.
Arabic? No. It's Islam. Yeah, it's Islam. And he submits according to his desires or according to God's teaching. Jesus submitted to God according to God's teaching. A Muslim, someone who believes in God according to the God's teaching. So,
what God is this guy talking about? What God is, what's his name? SHAMSI. What is he talking about? Jesus submit to God according to God's teaching. Muslims submit to God according to God's teaching. Which God did Jesus submit to? And which God did do Muslims submit to? Are they the same God? So this is a stupid way of reasoning. And I often hear this way of reasoning from Muslims. Jesus submit to God, so he's a Muslim. And I submit to God. So I am a Muslim. What God? What God? You know, is Jesus God the God of Islam? No, he's not. Jesus called his God Father. The God of Islam says, how can he have a son when he have no wife? Jesus called himself the Son of God. The God of Islam say, how can I have a son when I have no wife? Surah 6, verse 101. So why are these Muslims equating Jesus with their religion? I don't know. Your religion believes that God cannot have a son. But here you are saying that Jesus is God who's called the Father, and Jesus who called himself the Son of God, he's of the same religion as you. No, they're not.
So we believe that Jesus was a Muslim because we believe he submits to God. Muslim is an Arabic term. In English, someone that submits to God according to the teaching of God.
So if Muhammad ran from the cave and invent a God and give it to them, possessed and he invent a God and give it to them and they submit to that God, it is the same as Jesus is God. Do you see how stupid these idiots are? It's not the same as Jesus is God. How do you know? You compare. How do you know that Jesus submit to God? The Quran? Are you talking about Isa or are you talking about Jesus? You're talking about the historical Jesus or are you talking about Isa? If you're talking about the historical Jesus, how do you know that Jesus submit to God? By reading the Bible. Can a Muslim say what Jesus say? No. I and Allah are one? No, you can't say that. Can a Muslim say whatever Allah does, I do also? No. But Jesus said these things. Jesus said these things. Whatever the Father does, the Son does also. So how is Jesus a Muslim? Jesus is never a Muslim. These guys are fooling and brainwashing themselves.
That's what a Muslim means.
But that's a very vague definition. I mean, by that definition, a lot of people are Muslim.
Like, for example,
Well, I mean, say Jews submit to God, aren't they all therefore Muslim?
but not according to, that's not according to God's teaching.
He said Jews submit to God. He said not according to God's teaching. If the Jews submit to God, he said not according to God's teaching. In whose book is that? That the Jews don't submit to God according to God's teaching. We know the good Jews deny the Messiah, so they're not submissive to God in that sense. They're not submissive to God. But who is this guy to say that the Jews don't submit to God? You know, who is he to say that the Jews don't submit to God according to God's teaching? And who is he to say that Muhammad submit to God according to God's teaching? Why is Muhammad's submission to his God better than the Jews' submission to God? Why?
Don't be scared of camera.
Don't be scared. We're trying to have a friendly conversation.
No, 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 wait.
No, the reason why I asked Shamsi is to elaborate more.
Yeah.
So,
But I don't know what's the issue here. Are we talking about if Jesus was a Muslim or not?
Yeah.
That's what we're debating at.
no, we were trying to ascertain and ask you why you believe Jesus to be God, and you were trying to explain to us
All
why you
right.
believe that. So perhaps if you
He's
explain.
God because he died and rose again. That's the simple answer.
So he was God because, sorry, I had to cut you.
Sure.
So he was God because he died and was raised again.
Yeah.
Okay, Elijah died and was raised again. So is he God?
Who raised Elijah? Who raised Elijah? Did Elijah raise himself? Elijah didn't raise himself. So why is Elijah compared to Jesus? Elijah did not raise himself. Listen to what Jesus says. We're looking at John 2, verse 19 to 21. Jesus answered and said unto them, destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will rise it up. I will raise it up. The Jews said, and then said the Jews, 46 years was the temple in building, and wilt thou rear it up in 3 days? But he spoke of the temple of his body. He's talking about his resurrection. So Jesus is telling them, like, you destroy this temple, I will raise it up again. Here's another one. Here's another one. Here is Jesus speaking again. Jesus says, the reason my Father loved me is that I lay down my life in order to take it up again. In order to take it up again. I lay down my life in order to take it up again. This is nothing to do with Elijah or whoever. You know, none of these people laid down their life to take it up again. This is what he says. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. I have authority to lay it down and authority to take it up again. So Jesus is telling you, he have authority to lay down his life to be killed, and he have authority to take his life up again. I have authority. He said, I have authority to lay it down and authority to take it up again. So he have authority to take up his own life. Listen to Jesus speaking. This is how you come think. Jesus speaking again. And that was John 10, verse 18. Here is Jesus speaking again. Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me, the one who believes in me will live, even though they die. So he is the resurrection. Jesus is telling you that he is the resurrection and the life. Nowhere you can see that says Lazarus or Elijah or whoever was resurrected in the Bible is alive. So what is this guy talking about? Even from the beginning of John. Let's look at John 1, verse 4. Look at John 1, verse 4 and see what the disciple John understand about Jesus. In him was life, and his life was the light of all man. In him was life. He have life within himself. Listen to this. Listen to this. Truly, truly, I tell you, the hour is coming and has now come when the dead will hear the voice of the Son of God, and those who hear will live. So they will hear the voice of the Son of God, and those who hear will live. They will hear the voice of Jesus, and they will live. As the Father has life in himself, so also he granted the Son to have life in himself. So he has life within himself. And as the living Father sent me, and I live because in him was life. Oh, I read that already. I read that one already. No one take my life from me. Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life. So Jesus is not like no one. No one can make this claim that I am the resurrection and the life. No one can make this claim that I am the resurrection and the life. It's only God can make those claims. So Jesus is not like any mere man as this guy. Hey, what's up, brother? How are you, man? So now let's continue to hear him a little bit more, because I just wanted to reveal some of his stuff.
Who's that?
In the Bible.
Elijah. Who is that?
Well, no, not Elijah. It's someone that died. It's Elijah.
We don't speak very good English.
Okay, there's someone in the Bible. Someone in the Bible
Yeah.
died.
Yeah.
Not just
Lazarus.
died, and he came back to life.
Lazarus.
Okay, so Israel. His brother mentions Israel. Yeah. Doesn't make him God. So come back to life.
How did he come back to life? Who resurrect Lazarus from the grave? And anybody who come back to life in the Bible, how did they come back to life? Are they the resurrection and the life and they come back to life? No. The Bible never say anyone but Jesus is the resurrection and the life. So Jesus is the resurrection and the life. He's the one who give life. Let me show you. Here we go again. Here we go again. Just as the Father raises the dead and give life and give them life, even so the Son give life to whom he please to give it. So the Father raises the just as, notice what he says, for just as the Father raises the dead, just like the Father raises the dead and give them life, even so the Son gives life to whom he please. Because the Son have life within himself. The Son is a resurrection. So when the lady says, because he resurrected back to life, it could be a better choice of word, because he is the resurrection and the life. That's what a woman should have said to him, because Jesus is the resurrection and the life, and see what he would have done. What path he would have taken.
Because Jesus said clearly.
But Jesus prayed for Lazarus.
No, for prayed, it doesn't make him God, because I can pray for Jesus, doesn't make me God, because I pray. The argument that you are utilizing, out of respect, doesn't approve Jesus to be God. There's a question I want to ask that all of us as a Muslim and a Christian and a Jew, everyone that believes in God, we believe. Do you believe God is perfect all the times?
Yeah.
And listen to this stupid question that he asked. Do you believe that God is perfect all the time? The lady said, yeah.
Perfect.
God.
Yeah, God is perfect all the time. Yeah, he has a perfect knowledge. He has a knowledge of the past, knowledge of the now, knowledge of the future, and likewise is self-sufficient.
He also says God is self-sufficient. He have knowledge of the past. He have knowledge of the future. He's self-sufficient. Listen to the path that this idiot gonna take.
Is God self-sufficient? Self-sufficient. Self-sufficient.
Remember what he said, is God self-sufficient? But do you notice what the Quran says? In Quran 6, verse 101, he says, how can he have a son when he have no wife? Does that sound like that God is self-sufficient? If he's self-sufficient, he doesn't need a wife to have a son. He could have a son without a wife. Self-sufficient means that you can do things without the need, without others. You don't need the help of others to do things. When you're talking about self-sufficient, when it comes to God, you don't need the help of others to do this. But you hear Allah says, how can he have a son when he have no wife? That means Allah need a wife to have a son. How is he self-sufficient?
God is not in need of nothing.
But how can he have a son when he have no wife? If he want to have a wife, he would need a son. But God is not in need of anything.
Nothing.
Yeah, everyone's in need of God. Independent mean independent.
Yeah, but
God is independent, but how can he have a son when he have no wife? He's dependent. He's Allah God.
Times
he can make himself
dependent.
dependent on
Yes, God can make himself dependent.
people.
That's contradiction.
No, that's not a contradiction. God making himself dependent. Remember, our God is not a Unitarian God. If Allah make himself dependent, then that would be a contradiction. If Jehovah make him himself of one of the person of Jehovah become dependent, then that's not a contradiction. Because who is he dependent on? He dependent on God. So God depending on God. But if Allah become dependent, who is it that Allah become dependent on? If Allah need a wife to have a son, and the Quran actually says if he desire a wife, he could take it from us. The Quran says if he desire pastime, Ibn Ibas said it was said that it means that if he desire a wife, then he would take it from us. If you look at Mushin Khan's translation, it actually says if he desire a wife, because what? These people were reading the hadith while they were doing their translation. If he desire a wife, he would take it from us. That means if Allah desire a wife, if Allah desire a wife, he could take it from us. Do you see that? So Allah need a wife to have a son. Yahweh did not need anyone because his son is his eternal son. So at the end of the day, if my right hand is dependent on my left hand, am I dependent? Am I still independent? If I'm supposed to, somebody say, take up that toy. My son have a toy on the floor right there. And someone said, take up that toy. And when I try to take it up with my right hand, I cannot take it up. But then I use my left hand and I take it up. Am I taking it up independent? Yes, I'm taking it up independent. I didn't need nobody's help to take it up. It's the same way with God. God is multi-personal being, a multi-personal existence. And the Son entered creation as a human being, took on the limitation of a human on himself. And in the time of as a human, he is dependent on God. On God. He as God dependent on God. The right hand dependent on the left hand. So he's not dependent on other source, he's dependent on God himself.
If someone, listen to this, yeah? If someone is independent all the times, because that's what makes God as well. What God is, he has the nature of being independent all the times.
And the triune God can be independent all the time and yet still be dependent on God. And also be dependent. God, Christian God, can be independent all the time and still be dependent. Why? Because he is a multi-personal existence. The Father is dependent on no one. The Holy Spirit is dependent on no one. But the Son who entered creation is dependent on things. Does that make God independent? Yes, God is still independent, and at the same time, God is dependent. So God can choose to be independent and at the same time be dependent. Islamic God could never do that. He couldn't do that. Islamic God is dependent at all time. All time he is dependent. At every part of his existence, he is dependent. Totally dependent. And that's why you hear him speaking like this. Perhaps Allah will. Perhaps Allah will do this. Perhaps Allah will do this. Perhaps you hear him speaking. You look at let me show you a verse that shows that Allah is dependent on things. Here we go. Sai International, Surah 60, verse 7. Perhaps Allah will put between you and those to whom you have been enemies, among them affection. Perhaps Allah will do that. Perhaps. Allah don't know if he will do that. He just perhaps. Allah don't know. Because perhaps is a guess. when you look up the word perhaps, what does it mean? And let's show you that Allah is a limited God and dependent God. Sahih al-Bukhari, book 37, number 6629. Abu Hurairah reported, I heard Allah Messenger, may peace be upon him, as saying, Allah created mercy in 100 parts, and he retained with him 99 parts. And he has sent down upon the earth one part, and it is because of this one part that there is mutual love among the creation. So because of this one part, there's mutual love among the creation. So because of that 99 part, Allah is merciful. So Allah is merciful because of something. It's just mathematics. Add up Islam is total mathematics. Totally mathematics. If you want to add up Islam, it's easy to add up Islam, and you will see that Islam is nothing but stupid nonsense. Sahih Muslim, book 37, number 6629. Abu Hurairah reported, I heard Allah's messenger, may peace be upon him, as saying, Allah created mercy in one part, in 100 parts, and he retained with him 99 parts. But is that the end of it? To show that Allah didn't have mercy, listen. Allah is called the All-Merciful, or the Most Merciful, because this is one of the names of Allah, the Most Merciful, when his mercy was created. So Allah is dependent on creation, the creation of mercy, to become merciful. And notice what the Quran says. And this is why I know Islam is a joke. Notice what the Quran says. Quran 6 verse 12. Sahih International. Say to Allah, he had decreed upon himself mercy. He decreed upon himself mercy. Allah had to decree upon himself mercy. Pictal, say unto Allah, he had prescribed for himself mercy. So I prescribe pill for myself. That means I need for my pain. Say I having some pain and I prescribe some Tylenol. What does that mean? I did not have something within my body that could stop the pain, that could interrupt the pain receptors site, that could interrupt what the stimulus that of pain at the pain receptor sites. What is that telling you? That I'm in need of something. So Allah prescribed something for himself because he was in need of it in order to be merciful. Yusuf Ali, say to Allah, he had inscribed for himself mercy, the rules of mercy, inscribed for himself. Shakir, say to Allah, he had ordained mercy on himself. Allah ordained mercy on himself. So when was that? Wow. Say to Allah, he had prescribed mercy for himself. Mushin Khan. Arbery, say it is God, he had prescribed for himself mercy. Allah prescribed mercy for himself and Allah create mercy. So how is Allah all merciful? How is Allah not independent? How is Allah not dependent?
He has no beginning, no end.
Yeah.
He's always independent.
So he has no beginning and no end. He always independent, but his mercy have a beginning and an end. His mercy have a beginning, sorry. His mercy have a beginning. So the attribute of Allah, merciful, a mercy, is created. So in the beginning, Allah was not completed. Quote unquote, beginning. Allah was not completed until he created mercy. Because one of the name of Allah, one of the attributes of Allah is the most merciful. the most MERCIFULATTRIBUT. Attribute of Allah. Allah is called Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. What does that mean? What does Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim mean? Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim, the most beautiful names among the name of Allah. So call him by them. So one of the name is, we get there, Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. The primary name of Allah, specifically dealing with mercy, are Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. These two names frequently occur together in the Quran. They are both derived from the root word Rama, which means mercy, and also as elements of empathy, kindness, and gentleness. So in order to be empathy, to have empathy, kindness, and gentleness, and compassion and love, you must have mercy. But Allah created his mercy. What a donkey call Islam. Hey, man. Islam is a donkey religion, man.
If he becomes dependent, that's not the nature of the same Most High who is independent all the time.
And this is how stupid this guy is. If he become dependent, is it the totality of God that become dependent? No, the totality of God. Jesus is not the totality of the Christian God. So the totality of the Christian God did not become dependent. It is a person of the Christian God that becomes dependent. But according to this, the totality of Islam, God created mercy and prescribed mercy for himself. So he dependent on the created mercy to become merciful. He dependent on created mercy to become merciful. I remember I have a debate with this guy. He was talking about Jesus, and I debate him in this way. He have no answer. All he started doing, he started using profanity, calling me the F word, the homosexual F word.
Times. That's called a paradox. That is like telling me I exist and not exist at the same time. That is.
Do you see how stupid this guy is? Is God capable of doing things that that man cannot do? Did you know that atom, at times, atom, when you're talking about what they call it, quantum physics, there's time when particles and atoms exist, is in existence, and time when they are not in existence. You know, there are times when they are in existence. You know, so there are times when things can be seen in existence, and then when you look, they don't see them. You can't see them. It's impossible to see them. You know, so a thing can you can see a thing, it's in existence, but these things are things that God set for us to teach us. You know, so you can say, oh, a thing it cannot be in existence and be out of existence and in existence. There are things that goes in and out, where you know, according to where we study science, you see things goes in and out of existence. There are things that are beyond our small knowledge. And to say, and that this is so stupid, to say that an almighty God cannot be dependent and independent at the same time. Yes, he can be dependent. Yes, God can be dependent and independent at the same time. Why? Because God does whatever it pleases him. Because God is not a Unitarian existence. He's not a Unitarian being. So he can do things this 1 minute. The Son can do things that while the Father remain constantly in his fullness, the Son can take other forms and become independent in our world. Become dependent in our world. Because he take on flesh, he depended on food to sustain him. But the Father is independent of all things. Not dependent on anything, while the Son can be dependent. Because this is God. You're talking about God. If God can't do what man can do, how is he God? How is he God? Muslim put a restriction on God, or say, oh, God cannot come and do what man can do. How is he God? See, Allah enter his creation. Muhammad said Allah will come down to the lower part of the heaven. What is that showing you? He's in space and in time. Muhammad said Allah come down to the lowest portion of the heaven, and he asks for who is bringing him prior. That is showing you that Allah of the Quran can be contained in space and time. The lowest portion of the heaven is space, and the latest part of the night, the lower heaven is space, and the latest portion of the night is time. So Allah is coming down into creation. So what that shows, that Allah can limit himself. Can he be outside of his creation? And can he be inside of his creation? So you can limit yourself. God can, just Muslim trying to sell their God as this all-powerful God that cannot do certain things. But you see that Allah can limit himself.
The paradox.
What's the
paradox? Means,
I don't understand your problem.
Oh, you don't.
What's the problem?
The problem is that can someone be perfect all the times and imperfect at the same time?
Perfect. What is perfection? Who defined perfection? Who defined what perfection is? A perfect man and a perfect and God perfection is two different things. A man can be perfect, and God's perfection is totally different. Two different things. It's not the same thing. So Jesus came into the creation as a perfect man. Perfect man, but yet still he is not the totality of God. So one person of God can have imperfection in the knowledge, because I do believe that Jesus had imperfection in his knowledge. I do really, that's my belief, that it was imperfection by choice. He chose that upon himself, because God can do whatever God pleases to do. So he can choose to be what he wants to be. He take that choice. He take that imperfection on himself. But imperfection in the sense of sinning, no, he didn't. He was not imperfect. As a sinful person, he was not a sinful person. But did he take limitation on himself? Yes, he took limitation on himself. I do believe that he did take limitation on himself to come here to be. But is he the totality of God? No, he's not the totality of God. So God can be perfect and imperfect at the same time. You cannot judge man on the level that you judge God. And by the knowledge of man, saying that a thing cannot be perfect but can a thing be perfect and imperfect at the same time? Yes, it can. Even in our life, a thing can be perfect and be imperfect at the same time. It can. So to say that God cannot, that's what Islam always say. But we see that always Allah perfect. If Allah create mercy, was Allah perfect in mercy? And Allah got 99 parts of mercy with him, that his mercy is not even perfect. Wow. Allah got 99 parts of mercy.
Why is God imperfect?
No, asking you, can someone, I forgot, for God's side, I'm asking you a question. Can someone be perfect all the times?
Yeah.
Perfect what? All the times, yeah? And imperfect? Perfect means he doesn't forget. He doesn't, what do you call it? He doesn't.
Like not human, like perfect. You can be perfect in a human way still.
No, every human is not perfect because human forget. You have a perfect.
So what he's saying that Jesus, if a human forget, he's not perfect. Yes, his memory is not perfect. His memory is not perfect. But that's different if a human choose to forget. Can a human choose to forget? Can a human choose to forget? Can a human choose to forget something? Say, I say to you, one, and I say it again, one, and you hear it. And I say, what word did I just say? And you said two, then you're lying because you heard it. You know it's one. Can you choose to forget me just saying one? Can you choose in that moment to forget me just saying one? I believe that God can choose to forget because God is God. He has power to do what he wants to do. He has will to do what he wants to do. It's a God is all knowledgeable. Can God choose to forget? That take it out of his memory, take something out of his memory? Yes, he can. Can he put it back into his memory? Yes, he can. Because he is God. He is God and he governs the universe. So if he governs the universe, he governs things, he can allow the universe to present him anything that he wants to be present, and he could stop the universe from presenting anything that he wants to be presented to him. That's me. I believe that. I believe that. I do believe that God can do these things. So if you believe in God and you don't believe that God can stop things, then what kind of God is that? God can choose, and I believe that Jesus chose things upon himself. Choose to choose not to have the ability to do certain things. Like remember the hour of his coming. He choose not to do these things. He leave it with the Father. Because you can choose. I believe that God can choose to forget. We can choose to do certain things. I can choose to say, hey, I forget to go to work. I know I have to go to work. Can I say I forget to go to work when I know I have to go to work? No. But God can forget things. I do believe that God can forget things. Choose to forget, not forget it like, oh, I forget. No, but he can choose to forget. I do believe that. He can choose, blot out your sin and remembering them no more. I do believe that he can remember them. They are not before him. I believe that he can do that. I believe God have the ability to do things that men believe that he doesn't have the ability to do. But is he all-knowing? Yes. If God want to remember, if he choose to forget something, take it out of his memory and discard it, and he want to bring that thing back in his memory, can he? Yes, because he's powerful enough to allow the elements to bring that back to his memory. He allow it to be back in his memory, because God, I believe that there is so much to God that we cannot fathom God. It's hard for us to know God and to comprehend God, because I believe there is much more to God and how God presents himself to us. There are a lot more. And I want you to remember this, that Jesus is not the totality of God. So if one person of God choose to forget something, that doesn't mean that all the other persons of God doesn't remember. And if these are the way you got to look at things, that's how I look at things. I might be wrong, but you know,
knowledge, you know everything.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know why it's perfect.
We don't understand the problem.
Does Allah know everything? If Allah have 99 portion of mercy with him, does he know the limitation of mercy? Does Allah know the limitation of mercy? The most merciful life. Does Allah have the most merciful life? No, he don't. So Allah don't know the maximum mercy. Allah don't know maximum, because he sent one part of that mercy to the earth. He only have 99 with him, and he prescribed mercy for himself. So if he prescribed mercy for himself, he prescribed 99 parts of mercy, which is 99% of mercy, because he create 100% mercy, and he get rid of one part, and he retained with himself 99 parts. So now Allah is moving with 99% mercy. So does Allah know 100% mercy? And did Allah know mercy at all before he create mercy? Did he have mercy before he create mercy? No, he didn't. He didn't have mercy before he create mercy. So at the end of the day, what is this Islamic God?
Problem. If someone can be perfect and imperfect, why would it?
Does that make sense? Someone to be perfect
No, it
and
doesn't
imperfect.
make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Thank you. So Jesus, if you believe Jesus was God,
Yeah.
Jesus, he didn't know the hour. Jesus in Mark 13:32, if you want to check it, Mark 13:32.
But we don't. That's what Mark is saying.
Numbers 23. Sorry, look, I took over.
No. You should.
You don't. We believe that he's sin free. Not.
No, but sorry, I have respect. Can she read Mark 13:32?
All right.
13.
So he's saying, look at Mark 13:32. But we are talking about Jesus, the human that God became. So God became a human, and a human have limitations, according to how I look at things. I try not to go too deep into things that, especially things like that, to say, oh, if the Bible doesn't tell me how to understand that, I don't try to dig down into that, because he says the Father, no one knows, neither the Son nor the angel, but the Father, only the Father knows. So I don't dig too deep down into things like that, because I believe that God can choose to forget things, because God is all powerful. If he's all powerful, that means the ability to choose, he would have all ability to choose. If he is all powerful, he would have all ability to choose. So if God is not all power, if God doesn't have all ability to choose, how can he, or in what way is he all powerful? And that's why when you look at all powerful, almighty, almighty, how do you look at that, at almighty and all powerful? If God doesn't have the ability to become a man, how is he almighty when he is limited to by his power? I'm all powerful, but I cannot be this. And that's why we know that Islamic God is the wrong God, is not right. Because while the Christian God can be a man and still be all powerful, because he is not the only person of God. The Son is not the only person of God, so the Father is still all powerful in every aspect within his full element at all times, while the Son became a human being. So these things are very easy to understand with the Christian God, but with the Islamic God, why is he saying, perhaps I will? Perhaps I will do this. Perhaps I will do that. As if he don't know if he will do what he will do. That Allah may forgive your sin. Allah is even saying that to Muhammad, that I may forgive you. That do this, that I may forgive your sin. Not do this and I will forgive your sin, but that I may forgive your sin. Because he only have 99% mercy. So he might not forgive you because his mercy is not full tilt. He's not coming at you with full tilt mercy. He's coming at you with 99 parts of mercy. So these are the things that you got to look at.
1332.
Because they said they're here.
So,
we're gonna study
about Christianity.
Yeah.
Huh?
We don't want to argue. We just want
No, we're not arguing. I'm just going to show you from the Bible.
Okay, well, let's check the
Yeah.
verse and then we have to leave. because
No
we
problem.
need to go around.
Yeah, we're not going to force
All
you.
right.
Yeah.
Mark,
1332.
finns det ens? Det var jag Mark ser så.
السلام عليكم.
13.
كيف الحال؟ How are you brother? You right? صورهم ها لان هذول مبشرين. لا لابد
Vi är här, men
صورهم اذا ارادوا ان
den här
يذهبوا.
dagen eller stunden känner
يمكن اكشفهم
en son
لا ليس الان.
fader. Okej, vänta nu.
لان هذول هذول مبشرين هذول سوف يصبحون علماء اكثر. هم يدرسون. لا هم يريدون هذا. إذا أصبحوا عدا الإسلام علانية نفتحوا.
So sorry. We have
Well, you cannot mark. You cannot read Mark 13:32.
Yeah, we read it, but we won't take a verse out of context.
Yeah, read the context. Read the context for us.
We have it in Swedish.
Yeah, okay, we have English too.
Explain it, maybe.
Jesus never spoke Swedish. He spoke Aramaic, but we have English. I have Swedish. I can quote it for you. Jesus said, "No one knows the day and the hour, not even the angels in the heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father." Clearly from the Bible, Jesus doesn't know the hour.
Yeah, Jesus doesn't know that.
So he cannot be God, because God knows everything.
This is how stupid the guy. He cannot be God because God knows everything. Is Jesus the totality of God? So when you say God knows everything, if I say human knows everything and one human being don't know, if I said human knows how to build car and one human being doesn't know anything about building car, does that mean that that person is not a human? You know, this is the reasoning of a Muslim. You know, that's not the way to reason. So if one human doesn't know something, but human know how to build car, that doesn't mean that human doesn't know how to build car, because one human don't know how to build a car. You know, but as I say, we see the Bible teaches us that Jesus existed in the form of God, thought it not robbery to be equal to God, but he emptied himself and taking the form of a servant and coming in the likeness of man, and being in the likeness of man, he humbled himself. And Philippians 2 verse 6 to 7. So what we are seeing here, that God, Jesus existed in the form of God and emptied himself, become a human being. So does that take away the fact that he is God as a human being? No, it doesn't take away the fact that he is God as a human being, not because he come here with limitation. It doesn't take away the fact that he is God as a human being. And he's not the totality of God. So when the Bible says God is all knowing, if the Bible says God is all knowing, it does not negate the fact that Jesus is God, because God is still all knowing. Even if Jesus doesn't know the time and the hour, God is still all knowing, because the Father knows. And Jesus said, I and the Father are one. And when you're talking about Jesus saying that he and the Father are one, he says, the Son have life in himself, just like the Father have life in himself. He's the resurrection. He's the life. So at the end of the day, what we see, what we can say about these things is we are not supposed to be saying, oh, Jesus is not God, because he doesn't know. Because you are looking at things from a Muslim perspective, not looking at things from a Christian perspective. Because as I say, if you look at me and says, nurses know how to do wound vac, and I as a nurse don't know how to do wound vac, that doesn't mean that nurses don't know how to do wound vac. Because according to Christianity, God is a triune God. God consists, should use the word consists, of three persons in one being or one existence. One existence. God is one existence, consists of three persons. So if one person choose to be limited, become a man and choose to be limited, that doesn't mean that God is not all-knowing, because there is still two persons of that same being that is all-knowing. And I see a lot of Christians, they bend themselves around so many corners, and they will say, oh, it means this and it means this, even though they may be right. But you don't have to go at that far to defend them. I don't think you have to go and be like, oh, it was a wedding, and if you understand the analogy and this and that, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do all that stuff. Because what? If Jesus didn't know when he's coming back, if Jesus didn't know, that doesn't mean that he's not God. And if Jesus didn't know, that doesn't mean that God is not all-knowing, because Jesus is not the totality of God. And if God became a man and that man died, that doesn't mean that God is not immortal. Because what? Jesus is not the totality of God. So when Jesus died, when Jesus as God died, because notice it says God purchased with his blood. So the blood that was shed is God's blood. Because God manifests himself as a human being and his blood was shed. So that's God's blood that was shed. So when Jesus died, as God died, is God still immortal? Yes, because the Father is still alive. Who can kill the Father? Who can kill the Holy Spirit? They are still immortal. So is God still immortal? Yes. God can do what man cannot do. God can remain in ways that man cannot do, because God doesn't function the same way as man functions. You know, all of humanity can die. All of humanity can die, but all of God cannot die. And this is why God is immortal. Because God can become a man and die, but all of God is not dead. God is alive while he's dead. Because God is alive while God is dead. Because God is not a Unitarian being, but a multi-personal existence. So when the Son is dead, the Father is alive, the Holy Spirit is alive. Muslim will ask you, like, who is controlling the universe when God is dead? They answer these stupid questions.
All right, now I understand your issue.
Okay, you understand my point.
All right, I understand your point. I don't have an answer for that, but I understand your issue.
And that's what exactly Allah mentioned in the Quran to Prophet Muhammad. What Jesus said here, exactly what Prophet Muhammad said in the Quran, what Allah told Prophet Muhammad to say. Allah said in the Quran, they ask about the Day of Judgment, saying no one knows except Allah. Jesus and the Prophet Muhammad, they said the same thing. That shows he's a prophet of God, not God. You don't even understand what I said. He's there. He's there. I said no.
They ask about the Day of Judgment. No one knows save Allah. Who knows if Allah knows nothing about the Day of Judgment? Because Allah will say, perhaps I will forgive you. Perhaps this part. Maybe Allah will. Maybe Allah know about the Day of Judgment. Allah don't know nothing. Allah is Satan. If you're gonna go to the Quran, we go to the Bible. Jesus, the same Jesus that says he don't know the time and the hour, says that Allah is Satan. In Matthew 16 verse 21, Jesus is telling his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and must be killed. And they asked, and Peter turned to Jesus and said, "This will not happen to you, Lord." And Jesus turned to Peter and towards Peter and he says, "Get behind me, Satan." Why did he say that to him? It's because he said, "You will not be killed. This will not happen to you." He told them, he said, "I will go to Jerusalem and suffer many things at the hand of the elders and must be killed." Actually used the word must be killed. And Peter turned to him and said, Peter said to him, "That will not happen to you, Lord." That's verse 22. And Jesus turned to Peter in verse 23 and said, "Get behind me, Satan." And what does the Quran say in Surah 4, verse 157? The Jews boast that they killed the Messiah, but they did not kill him, nor crucify him. Even though the Quran is not plain as to who killed the Messiah, because the Quran is not saying that the Messiah was not killed. The Quran is not saying that the Jews did not kill him. But did the Jews kill him? Yes, they did kill him. So, but what did Jesus say? Only Satan would say that he would not be killed, because he says, "Get behind me, Satan." When Peter was telling him that he would be killed, he would not be killed. He says, "Hey, get behind me, Satan." So the same Jesus that is telling you that he don't know the time and the hour of the judgment is telling you that he will be killed. So which one do you believe? Do you believe that he don't know the time and the hour, or do you believe that he will be killed? Which one do you believe? I believe both. I believe both because I understand the power of God. I understand that God has power over all things. We say God is all-knowing. God is all-knowing means that God knows all things. Yes, but if the Father knows all things and the Son does not, God is still all-knowing. Because the Son did not know things. How did the Son not know things? Because the Son chose that upon himself. He existed in the form of God, but emptied himself, taking the form of a bondservant. So he take the form of a human being, and because human being is not knowledgeable of all things, to me, I believe that it is appropriate that he is not knowledgeable of all things. That's me. It's no problem with him not being, but that doesn't mean that he is not God.
I can't speak. How is wrong? Prove that to
I don't know
you.
what to say to you.
You know what I'm gonna say to you? You know what?
But I understand your point.
No, I'll say, look, sorry to cut you. Yeah, what I say to you? No, yeah, well, that's good. What I say, when you go home, pray to God. Say, God, listen, please. Listen. Pray to God. Say, "Oh God, God of Abraham, God of Jesus, guide me to the straight path." Do you agree with that?
We believe that Jesus is the truth, the way, and
Yeah, no, but I'm saying pray to God of Jesus.
but Jesus is God. So then we
No, but in the Bible, Jesus said he has a God. Shall I show you?
no.
And there goes again. In the Bible, Jesus said that he have a God. That was my video yesterday. Of course, Jesus have a God. In the book of Jeremiah, we see where Jeremiah says, God is the God of all flesh. So if God became flesh, then the Father, if the Son became flesh, then the Son would have a God, because God is the God of all flesh. So the Son would have to fulfill that righteousness. If God is the God of all flesh, then the Son would have to fulfill that righteousness, because the Bible, whatever the Bible says is righteousness. The Bible says God is the God of all flesh. When the Son emptied himself and became human being, flesh, humankind, man, then the Son must have a God, must take the Father as his God, because what? God is the God of all flesh. He is flesh now, so he must take the Father as his God. And in the book of the Psalms 20, I think 22, it says, you are my God from my mother's womb. From my mother's womb, you are my God. Because how did God incarnate? The Son, how did the Son incarnate and became a part of his creation? He came through a woman. So while he was in that woman's womb, the Father became his God. And that's why you notice he referred to his God as his Father, as the Father, because the Father became his God. The Father became his God. And it is natural for him to fulfill these saying of the prophet, because from my mother womb, you are my God. From my mother womb, you are my God. And because Jesus came to a womb, he must have the Father as his God, even though he is God as a man, but as a man and flesh, he must have the Father as his God, and as a flesh, according to Jeremiah, God is the God of our flesh. As flesh, that humanity must have God, must have a God, or else he would be ungodly and could never be our example, because he came for many reasons. He came to be our example. He came to be our sacrifice. So he came to live a life so that we should follow his life. Paul said, follow me as I follow Jesus. So he came as our example. So as our example, he must have a God, because he is flesh like us. He became flesh like us. So, this guy is not really making too much sense.
In the Bible, no. In the Bible, Jesus said, I'm going to my God and your God.
Yeah, but he also, if you have seen me, you have seen the Father as well.
So
He said that several times.
No problem.
Sorry.
So Jesus, he said, if you see me, see the Father. So
Yeah.
does the Father look like a Jewish, Palestinian Jewish?
What does Allah look like? Yeah. Allah said Adam is created in his image. According to the Hadith, Allah says Adam is created in his image. So what does Allah look like? Allah will show his shin. What does Allah's shin look like? Donkey shin? This is how stupid these people are, man. Man is created in the image of God. So God could come looking like any man. A Palestinian Jew, whatever, could come looking like a black man. He could come looking like a white man. Man is created in the image of God. So whatever, if God come as a black man, he's still in the image of God. He come as a white man, he still is in the image of God. He come as a yellow man, which is they call the yellow race, which is nobody is yellow. The Oriental people, he still is in the image of God. Still, all men are created in the image of God. Muhammad was pirating that. Muhammad said that. So, I don't know. What is this guy talking about? Here is Muhammad. Narrated Abu Hurairah. The messenger of Allah, peace and blessing of Allah be upon him, said, when any of you fight his brother, let him avoid the face, for Allah created Adam in his image. In whose image? We let the hadith answer itself. The messenger of Allah, peace and blessing of Allah be upon him, said, do not say, may Allah deform your face, a form of cursing in Arabic, for the son of Adam was created in the image of the most merciful. And this is, we find this in Sahih Muslim 26:12. And this person say al-Sunnah. I don't know if that means Sunan Abu Dawud, but he say al-Sunnah 5:17. So you see, Sahih Muslim 26:12. But anyway, I'm going to say peace out and get out, because he's not going to say anything that I've never heard. I've never heard before.
If I say, if you see me, you see my father, what does it mean? I look like my father, correct?
If you see me, you see your father. I look like my father. That's not what it means.
Bigger than that. You can't only, you have to understand.
How is bigger? Jesus was the same height as some people walking. What does it mean?
He's so stupid. Jesus was some height as some. So was Adam created in the image? Was Allah that height of Adam? He said, if you see me, you see my Father. What does that mean? He said, I am in the Father and the Father in me. What does that mean? He's the total representative, the exact representative of the Father, the exact representative of the Father. And that's why Jesus could say, whatever the Father does, the Son does also. Because he's the exact representative of the Father. He is the Son, and because he is God like the Father, then if you see him, you see the Father. He is God as a man. So if you see him, if you understand him, then you will never ask about the Father. So let us say, because this guy is not saying much, so let us say peace out and blessings, and I get out of here so I could go to work. So peace and blessings to you, all of you. And I know sometimes my videos can be very long, so peace and blessings to all of you guys. And I am out of here, and I repeat a lot of things so that people could see how Islam is stupid, because their story is always the same. The Islamic narrative is always the same, nothing different. So peace out, and I will see you guys another time. I'm actually gonna shorten this video to show more about this Shamsi guy. So peace out. God bless you. And our praises to the triune God, the God above all gods, the God who gives us wisdom to understand and to decipher all things.